We have before us Valhalla, one of the top 3 academies for hunters in the world. Every year, throngs of hunters flock here, dreaming of the prestige of Valhalla. The chance of admission is 1 in 500, and that's just the beginning of the dropout rate. Less than 150 cadets graduate from these walls. The competition begins from day 1. And here it is, day 1. A powerful leg kick sends someone flying. In the vast maze, fierce battles between the newcomers are already simmering. From above, a gray-haired man watches this merciless slaughter. This was Sang-Chul Lee, the chief combat instructor of Valhalla, stern and experienced. Instructor Lee hums, "Wow, there are quite a few of them gathered this time too." Minjun Yu, the son of the Danyu clan, clearly an important person, appears next to him. Instructor Lee notes that the entrance rank is determined this way and wonders if Yu has come to check on his niece. Minjun Yu confirms, as the Danyu clan has high hopes for So-young. Instructor Lee thoughtfully repeats the name So-young Yu. In front of us, So-young Yu is a prodigy from the Danyu clan, one of the 5 great clans of South Korea. At 10, she possessed mana at the level of a high school student, and at 13, she was already infusing her sword with it. At 16, in a sparring match with Danyu clan hunters, So-young won a complete victory. Instructor Lee hums, saying that's what her file says, and asks if there's anything else. Minjun Yu leans in intriguingly. "Would you believe it if I told you that she can communicate with the clan's guardian constellation?" At these words, Instructor Lee was clearly surprised. Minjun Yu confirms with a smile. "Of course, that's why we expect great things from her." Minjun Yu explains, "The greatness of Korea's 5 clans is a credit to their guardian constellations. Normally, a hunter would get a blessing or contract, but the constellations of the 5 clans are special. Among them are the sword god of the Danyu clan and the ghost spear of the Mountain Chan clan, and also the king of blades of the True Choi clan, whose power is undeniable. Not to forget the king of fists of the early O clan crushing enemies. And rounding out the top 5 is the Luka god of the Peak Du clan, whose arrows always find their target. The members of these 5 families, after receiving the blessings of the constellations, acquired outstanding talents. However, there is a difference between a mere blessing and true fellowship, meaning an outright contract. Instructor Lee is amazed, so she really is a prodigy." Minjun Yu confirms. Minjun Yu looks around. "So where is my niece? Her fight doesn't seem to have started yet." Minjun Yu anticipates, "Her fight will start in 30 seconds. Can I watch?" Instructor Lee grins. "You want to watch? Come down and fight your way through the crowd of reporters." Minjun Yu bows. "Come on, Sunbae, put the fight on the screen. You're my senior." Instructor Lee agrees, curious himself, and activates the hologram. So-young Yu appears on the screen, and her opponent Minjun Yu immediately spots her. In front of us is So-young Yu, 17 years old, the eldest daughter of the Danyu clan, clutching the hilt of her sword. Her opponent is an unknown 17-year-old Ju-hyuk Kim with question marks instead of a name. Instructor Lee remarks, "He looks relaxed." Minjun Yu assumes that the man has given up, knowing So-young's strength. So-young Yu stares at his opponent with blood-chilling determination. And Ju-hyuk Kim just yawns like he's deadly bored with the whole thing. Instructor Lee notes the guy's complete lack of fighting spirit, and Minjun Yu is confident. The fight will be over soon. 3. So-young Yu is already drawing his shining sword to strike. 2. Ju-hyuk Kim, meanwhile, is just lazily kneading his shoulder with a distinctive crunch. 1. So-young Yu's eyes flashed with purple energy. She was full of determination. "Fight!" So-young Yu swiftly rushes forward to attack his opponent. She unleashes a powerful sword strike on him, enveloped in blue energy. So-young Yu continues her attack, her sword leaving behind a wide energy trail. A huge wave of pure sword energy rushed towards Ju-hyuk Kim. Instructor Lee is impressed. What pure swordsmanship at such a young age. Her mana control is impressive. And Ju-hyuk Kim stands nonchalantly while a deadly attack is launched at him. Ju-hyuk Kim meets So-young's attack with a barely perceptible smirk, the sword blade passing within a millimeter of his face. Instructor Lee and Minjun Yu watch in utter shock, unable to believe their eyes. Ju-hyuk Kim stands over the defeated So-young Yu, his fist enveloped in blue energy. He's the winner. Ju-hyuk Kim is perplexed. What the hell? Why is everyone so weak? Is it definitely 300 years in the future? In front of us is the Tower of the End, a grim structure from the distant past 300 years ago. In the past, a scarred Ju-hyuk Kim confronts a mysterious horned creature in the tower. It's the master of the Tower of the End, King Varshay, who grinningly calls their fight magnificent. And Ju-hyuk Kim turns out to be Hyuno Kim, the god of martial arts, badly injured, but not broken. King Warchief doesn't have time to react as Hyuno Kim's fist is already in his face. Hyuno Kim hits the Tower Master with fury. Great fight, how about that? Crushing blow. Hyuno Kim breathes heavily, the defeated King Warchief lying at his feet. A sudden system alert, Hyuno Kim is surprised to see the notification. The message reads, "The master of the Tower of the End, Varsha, has been defeated. The destruction of the world has been stopped." The Tower of the End shudders, its walls beginning to crumble to an ominous rumble. Hyuno Kim is shocked. Is the tower collapsing because of her master's death? A sudden pain pierces him. The old wound on his stomach has reopened. He bitterly thinks, all my life is in the war, and now, when everything got better. A thought flashes through my mind, maybe I should have brought my students with me. But Hyuno immediately wards off the doubt. No. He looks at the defeated enemy. That type was monstrously strong. My disciples would have died here. Hyuno Kim, badly injured, grunts. The tower collapses around him. Debris rains down on Hyuno, and he grows weak, pressing his hand against his wound. A sudden insight sparkles in his eyes, a last thought before nothingness. Hyuno Kim woke up in the body of 17-year-old Juhyok Kim, 300 years after the tower fell. Despite his weak young body, he had retained all the knowledge of the martial arts god and was satisfied. He had hoped for a quiet life until an ominous system window appeared in front of him. The message reads, "The Tower of the End will appear in 5 years. Get ready." Juhyok clutches his head in rage. What does this tower want with me? He thinks with annoyance that he was wrong not to finish Varsha completely, but he can't get the pass back. Juhyok looks determinedly at the notice. This time I'm going to stop the tower for good. Juhyok dreams, and then I'll live in luxury and idleness. Suddenly a system window pops up in front of Juhyok with a distinctive sound. The message reads, "Return your weapons and memories. Room 5, 3rd basement, Valhalla, Hall of Constellations." Juhyok pondered, weapons are understandable, but memories? We need to find this Valhalla first. In front of us is the building of Valhalla. On the 4th day, the qualifying battles for the top 10 will begin here. A uniformed Juhyok sits in the waiting room, announcing the gathering of competitors in the arena. He decides, I guess it's time to go, and leisurely heads for the exit. Juhyok comes into the arena where a gray-haired man is already waiting for him. Fighters, take your places. The stands are roaring. Photographers are clicking shutters. The audience is in anticipation. The gray-haired man notes that there are more spectators than usual today. After all, there are representatives of all 5 great clans here. The gray-haired man announces, This newcomer, Juhyok Kim." The audience welcomes his appearance. Juhyok's opponent is already in the arena, 30 seconds to go. This is Sehyuk-oh, the 17-year-old eldest son of the early O clan. Sehyuk-oh looks at Juhyok thoughtfully. So this is the guy. That Seo Young-yu won on the first day? He doesn't look that special. Juhyok kneads his shoulder. Sehyuk-oh smirked. Great. Once I put him down, my name will definitely be remembered. Juhyok turns around at someone's call. Hey! Sehyuk-oh is in a fighting stance, counting down. 3, I'll get you in a hurry! Juhyok is perplexed, but Sehyuk clarifies, quick to kill means quick to destroy. 2. Chibi instructor Lee enthusiastically suggests something to Juhyok. Soyeon nearby is clearly not thrilled. Juhyok is dumbfounded. Out of nowhere, Instructor Lee appears in front of him. Instructor Lee with a smile and a raised finger. Ya? Thought you hated me? So-young gloomily looks from behind him. Lee states that he embarrassed Juhyok by proving him wrong in class. The instructor admits, You've opened my eyes to new ways to fight monsters. Lee decisively places a hand on Juhyok's shoulder. So, would you like to be my assistant? Juhyok is adamant, no, I need to turn this in. The instructor keeps up, promising to work on the paper together, but Juhyok walks away, So-young stunned. Seo-young is in the hallway reflecting on Lee's persistence, willing to do anything to help Juhyok. Sighing heavily, So-young resolutely clenches her fist. She won't give up either. Juhyok dismisses the suggestion with a smirk. Oh? Since that's the case, good luck then. Against the backdrop of the sunset, he decides, forget it, I don't need him. The next night, Juhyok is in the hood looking around. Is this the place? He stands on the night street leading to the market sign. The camera shows the Valhalla dormitory under a starry sky. Juhyok sits in his room, staring intently into his phone. The little helper inquires, what are you looking for? Juhyok replies, information about tomorrow's location. He was looking for a place to sell the treasure from the stash and found a good fit. Joo-hyuk's gaze lights up as he finds the information he needs on his phone. Found it! With the article How to Enter the Market on the screen, Joo-hyuk begins to study it. Joo-hyuk reads, "You can make any kind of transaction on the market for a small fee, and it seems to be safe." He learns that the market was created and is run by the Guardian Constellation, the ruler of the other side. At least that's what they say online. Joo-hyuk ponders. Since Constellation and the politicians are involved, it's not easy to shut down the market. I guess that's why it's so easy to find a way to get there, he thinks as he looks at the title of the article. The article says, "Follow the link in the comments, reserve a spot, and the door will appear." Joo-hyuk looks thoughtfully at his phone. Link in the comments, then? He swipes the screen to find the right link in the comments section. Suddenly, a notification from Aaron Choi pops up on the screen with a smiley face. Joo-hyuk is surprised. Huh? Aaron Choi sends some stickers with crying bunnies, Joo-hyuk writes in shock. What? Aaron informs that she won't be able to train tomorrow since she's leaving. Joo-hyuk thinks, me too, so it wouldn't have worked out that way either. Joo-hyuk sends Aaron a quick, congratulations. Aaron looks at the phone in bewilderment. Huh? But what Joo-hyuk is really gloating about is, get lost, loser. Aaron sends a question mark. Joo-hyuk responds in kind and adds, have fun. The new messages from Aaron are pissing him off. Enough already! He is perplexed as to why she is so persistent, but decides to get back to the point of finding a market link. Is this it? Joo-hyuk clicks on the link he found. Soon he is already hooded and walking to the address. Checking his phone, he searches for the right place. Somewhere around here. In the old cafe. His gaze becomes more determined. I think he's found it. A hooded Joo-hyuk walks up to an old abandoned cafe. Inside there is desolation, dust, cobwebs, and broken furniture. With a creak, he pushes open the door and steps into the semi-darkness. Suddenly the image of Sehyak-oh, his formidable rival from the early O clan, flashes. Joo-hyuk checks his phone. We need to go through the door in the corner. He heads towards said door, thinking, this must be it. Joo-hyuk's hand rests on the knob. There is a distinct click. He opens the door and finds himself in a completely different, unfamiliar place. Joo-hyuk looks around with obvious surprise. Is this it? A busy night street stretches out in front of him. This is the marketplace. Joo-hyuk stands against the brick wall, sensing something strange about the place. He looks around Market Street, which seems painfully familiar, even though it's his first time here. The purple sky and hazy moon remind him of nights 300 years ago. A stranger in a black jacket approaches him and asks if this is Joo-hyuk's first time here. A memory of Sehyak-oh, not a strategist but a man of extraordinary talent, comes to mind. A man in a leather jacket stands calmly in front of Joo-hyuk, waiting. Joo-hyuk recalls the instruction from his phone. A leather-clad employee will collect the entrance fee. The stranger asks if Joo-hyuk knows the rules of the market, to which he nods uncertainly. Joo-hyuk pulls out a wad of money, confirming his awareness of the fee. He hands the money to the man, who thanks him for the entrance fee. Joo-hyuk reflects that it's the rest of his scholarship, but he'll pay it all back at the market. The market employee asks if there are any more questions, and Joo-hyuk replies, there is one. Joo-hyuk wonders where he can sell the gems he found. The man clarifies if he's going to the auction, but Joo-hyuk is looking for the quickest way out. He is advised to District 3, where merchants buy up everything with no regard for legality. Suddenly, the image of someone's powerful hand, enveloped in golden energy with the caption, his body, flashes by. Joo-hyuk asks about the most trustworthy merchant and is named Morris, known for his honest prices. The man points the way to District 3 and Joo-hyuk thanks him for the information. The market employee adds, oh, and one more thing, catching Joo-hyuk's attention. He pulls out a mask in the shape of a cat's head, urging me to put it on. The employee explains, many of the goods here are of dubious origin, so everyone wears masks. Joo-hyuk puts on a cat mask and the staff member adds that it's on the house. In his new mask, Joo-hyuk thanks the man for his advice and gift. The employee bows, wishing him good luck, and Joo-hyuk heads deep into the marketplace. Joo-hyuk arrives in District 3, a busy place where everyone hides their faces. He notices a merchant in a white cat mask scrutinizing a gemstone. The thought of Sehyak-oh flashes back to him. He could do incredible things with his physical strength alone. Joo-hyuk approaches the peddler and asks, are you Morris? The masked man confirms, yes, that's me, looking at Joo-hyuk. Joo-hyuk declares emphatically, I have something I need to get rid of. Morris, wearing a cat mask, explains, it depends on what you're selling, but gold and stones are quick. A hooded and masked Juhyok is digging through his backpack, preparing to make a deal. He pulls out a weighty black pouch, obviously with something valuable inside. Juhyok places the bag on the table in front of Morris. "I want to sell this." The merchant looks inside and asks in surprise, "Are those rings?" Morris pulls out one ring with a red stone and examines it thoughtfully through a magnifying glass. The merchant's eye behind the magnifying glass widens in amazement. Wait, that's... Once again, the image of Sehyok-oh, whose innate talent allowed him to do incredible things, comes to mind. A close-up of the ring glowing with energy. Morris is shocked. A relic of the Age of Ending? The merchant can't believe his eyes. Any way you look at it, it's an artifact from the Age of the End. Morris, wearing a cat mask, twirls the shining ring in his fingers, asking, "Are the others the same?" Juhyok's pouch exudes powerful energy, with a whole scattering of ancient rings inside. Morris's eyes widen behind the magnifying glass. "They're all from the same era!" A close-up of the merchant's eye. He's clearly overwhelmed by so many artifacts. The hooded and masked Juhyok calmly inquires, "How much can you offer for them?" Morris covers his mouth with his hand thoughtfully, assessing the situation. "Let me see." The merchant ponders in confusion. How did he get so many relics? He looks about 20 years old. Morris, still in shock, directly asks Juhyok, "Where did you get those relics?" Sehyok-oh's image flashes again, a reminder of his incredible talents and strength. Juhyok coldly replies, "I heard they don't ask such questions here, or am I wrong?" Morris, wearing a cat mask, admits, No, you're right. My mistake," pushing the magnifying glass away from the pouch. The merchant puts the magnifying glass away, lamenting that the relics distracted him and he nearly ruined his reputation. Morris turns to Juhyok, standing in his hood and mask, and states, "I'll be honest." He returns the pouch, saying, "I can't take them, as he doesn't have that much cash for the Age of End relics." Juhyok interjects in surprise, "Era of the End?" and wonders where to sell them for a decent price. Morris points to a tall building in the distance. "You must have passed the auction house on your way here." Juhyok, in his mask and hood, asks how long it usually takes to sell there. The merchant replies that it takes 2 to 3 weeks on average, as there are a lot of people wanting it, and you have to wait for space. Juhyok clarifies whether he'll have to return in person, and Morris confirms, verification is required for the payout. A sudden shot of a young man in a school uniform standing opposite a thug with bandaged hands in the arena. Juhyok wasn't happy. It seemed to him that it was all an unnecessary hassle. Juhyok reminded him that he hadn't been able to bring some things before, and asked how much he could get for them. Morris thought it was hard to estimate, and asked the young man to wait so he could figure out the cost himself. Morris pulled out his tablet and began to quickly count something on it. He appraised the items and showed Juhyok the approximate amount, to which he marveled. Juhyok mentally marveled at how expensive his items were valued, for they had once been expensive as they were. Juhyok clarified how much more money he needed to buy such things. Morris said that this was his rough estimate, and that the price might be different at auction. Then he added that even if he sold everything he had, he would only be able to cover 3/4 of its value. Juhyok nodded, agreeing with what he heard. Juhyok decided that he would sell the items for the price offered. In another moment, our hero brazenly shows his middle finger and rudely sends his interlocutor away. Morris, confused, doesn't understand what's going on. Relics from the Age of Ending are shown, explaining that their price is high not only because of their age. The second reason is explained. Ancient artifacts are of interest to powerful beings called constellations. The constellations appeared after the Age of Ending and show interest in relics from that time. Thanks to these relics, even ordinary people were able to contract with powerful constellations. For example, alchemist John is still active. Morris scrutinizes one of the rings. He becomes convinced by the residual mana that the relic is indeed ancient. Morris explains that there was a wave of mana at the end of the era, and all relics from that era contain remnants of it. He rejoices. 8 ancient Edge-era relics were able to be bought at a cheap price. Juhyok puts the tokens for buying rings in a baggie. In parallel, aggression erupts between the schoolchildren, one of them clearly angry. Morris mentally notes that he's been very lucky with his purchase today. Suddenly, someone distracts him and he turns around. A look of consternation of surprise appears on Morris's face. A mysterious man in a dark mask appears in front of him. Meanwhile, Juhyok returns to the regular door. He walks back in through the same door he came in from before. Juhyok takes off his mask and sighs in relief. It was uncomfortable to wear. He realizes he's back in the same cafe he came in from and decides to go back through that door. Ju-hyuk checks his phone and sees a large payout on his account, tens of millions of won. Ju-hyuk rejoices that he has finally solved his money problems by selling only 8 rings from his stash. The parallel scene continues, with the blonde man throwing himself at Ju-hyuk with a scream. Ju-hyuk reasons that even if he spends all the money, he will still have a lot of such goodies left, and there will be no further problems with money. Outside, his phone begins to vibrate. A strange call comes in. Ju-hyuk is surprised at the unknown number. He doesn't recognize the number and ponders who it could be. Ju-hyuk answers the phone. On the other end is a familiar voice cheerfully suggesting we meet for lunch. Jughead asks how he got his number. He says it's a professor from Valhalla. She explains easily and invites them to the Valhalla training center, promising to treat them to lunch. Ju-hyuk frowns at the phone. She didn't even let me get a word in edgewise. He decides to go out to eat, thinking, there's nothing else to do anyway. Meanwhile, an important figure in a purple cat mask approaches Morris. Ju-hyuk reflects on his physical infirmity. I can't resist in a fight, that bulky guy is a real force. Morris, in his white mask, asks the guest, what brings you here? The purple-masked guest said reproachfully, Morris, weren't we closer? The merchant keeps his distance. A simple shopkeeper cannot familiarize himself with the master of the market. In front of him is the market keeper himself, the mysterious Black Cat. Black Cat grinned. That's exactly the kind of attitude I like you for, Morris. Morris repeats his question. So what brings you to me? Black Cat reports. I notice you've submitted an anonymous bid for the auction for the first time in a long time. Morris thinks grimly. I guess she wasn't so anonymous. The market owner clarifies. The real market owner is my constellation, so I can collect any information I want. Black Cat asks, may I take a look at the items you put up for auction? Once again, the thought of fighting. Of course, in a fight, superior physical strength alone is not enough to win. Morris agrees, but is perplexed. Strange, Black Cat has never been interested in things, even from the age of ending. The merchant holds out a pouch containing Ju-hyuk's rings. They're here. Black Cat pensively examines the ancient artifacts in his palm. Morris suggests, these rings should go for a very high price. Black Cat wonders, what? The system message reads, ruler of the other side makes a surprised look on his face. The system message persisted, the ruler of the other side desires this ring. Black Cat concludes, looks like my constellation really wants that ring. Meanwhile, Ju-hyuk is having lunch with a woman with glasses at the Valhalla campus restaurant. The woman eats the pasta with pleasure. How delicious. Ju-hyuk looks at her thoughtfully, interrupting her meal. The image of a thug delivering a crushing blow flashes through his mind again. The woman notices his condition. Is something wrong, Ju-hyuk? Why aren't you eating? She explains with a smile. Valhalla also has regular restaurants, not just dining rooms. Didn't you know that? Ju-hyuk tastes the food, replying, I wasn't really interested in it. Chewing up his food, he asks bluntly, so why did you want to see me? The woman with glasses smiles enigmatically. Well, you see. She leans over to Ju-hyuk. I want you to be my assistant. The pizza guy is resolute. No. The lady insists, at least think before you answer. An assistant has many advantages. Ju-hyuk nonchalantly eats her pizza as she persuades, I'm sure you guessed my request, just listen. He finally inquires, what are the benefits, for example? The woman perks up. She starts listing. First, you'll get a scholarship and a pretty substantial one at that. Ju-hyuk clarifies, and? A memory of the thug's might flashes back, reinforcing her words. You need knowledge of martial arts to develop your physical abilities. The woman continues to seduce. You can also write your dissertation with me. It will open up new horizons in monster raiding. She promises. Your name will go into the World Monster Research Society, and wealth and fame will follow. Ju-hyuk again. And? Top view of a table. A woman announces, you'll be able to leave campus twice a week instead of once a month. Ju-hyuk is unimpressed. Anything else? The lady with glasses thoughtfully picks up the words. There's more. She enthusiastically offers, an opportunity to work with me. Ju-hyuk is skeptical. Sounds like an inflated ego. The woman pleads, grabbing his hand. Oh, just be my assistant, please. Ju-hyuk eats nonchalantly, replying, no. He thinks, nothing even slightly tempting. The guy remembers the system window. The eye of the great forest of Valhalla. Need the sword of enlightenment. He states firmly, In any case, I won't be your assistant and I won't write your dissertation. The lady is clearly upset. Joo-hyuk suddenly suggests, then how about this? Do you want to exchange information? Sudden flashback. A guy in a school uniform delivers a powerful leg kick to a bully. He lays out the terms. I give you interesting information. You give me information about monster raids. The woman inquires with a smile. What kind of information? Joo-hyuk replies, about Aaron Choi. Joo-hyuk ponders if she thinks he's interested in Aaron, helping her with her training. A woman shares a rumor. I heard Aaron Choi might be expelled from the clan. Joo-hyuk indifferently. I see. He gets up, getting ready to leave, which surprises the lady. Huh? Where are you going? Joo-hyuk explains, I've eaten, and your suggestions don't appeal to me. Now that we're done, I'm going to go. The woman jumps up. But I gave you the information. You have to return the favor. The guy coldly replies, I didn't really want to hear her. She protests, but you heard it anyway. Joo-hyuk looks at her. You know, I have a personal question. He bluntly asks, why do you, so infantile, act like a snob while teaching? Sudden shot. The very same thug stumbles, muttering, Ah! Ah! The lady replies seriously, because I'm a professor on maze monsters. If I'm not serious, it won't end well for the students. The professor explains, knowing about monsters is the key to survival, and students are lazy. Joo-hyuk grins. So you're just playing a role? The lady replies, it's my duty. The guy with the sly smile and scarlet eyes. Really? Impressive. Joo-hyuk walks away, waving his hand. Well then, good luck! The professor panics. Hey, Joo-hyuk! She demands information in return, but Joo-hyuk nonchalantly replies, nope. Location change. The grand building of the Choi Truth Clan in Sihin. Inside, 2 young men are sitting on their knees in front of the head of the clan. Clan head Choi Jung-sok announces, I called you to inquire about your intentions before selecting an heir. Choi Jing-young, raid leader of the Truth Guild and eldest son of the clan, is introduced. Sudden shot. Joo-hyuk in his school uniform makes a beckoning gesture with his hand. Aaron Choi, the second daughter of the Truth Choi clan, is introduced. The clan head clutches his sword, talking about the selection test while Aaron and her brother listen. He announces, the one who passes will get a chance to contract the Blue Moon Divine Blade and become the heir. The head puts his sword into its scabbard with force, emphasizing the seriousness of the failure. Failure, according to tradition, means banishment from the clan. Brother and sister tensely listen. The clan head asks sternly, are you willing to go for it? Choi Jing-young replies decisively, yes. Aaron Choi confirms with a serious look, I'll do it. The head of the clan towers over them with his sword, shrouded in an ominous aura. He closes his eyes, accepting their decision. Good. Joo-hyuk with scarlet eyes smirked, the ability to observe the enemy. The clan head announces, the selection trial is in 3 weeks, you may go. Aaron and her brother silently leave the clan head's room, heading down the hallway. Her brother stops Aaron, turning to her. Hey, can't you take a hint? Aaron turns around to him in surprise. What? Jing-young rebukes her sister. When you agreed to the trial, didn't you see the look on your father's face? Her father's stern look and Aaron's determined look come to mind. Brother chuckles wryly. Looks like you really want to become the head of the clan, huh? He adds cruelly, looking at a distressed Aaron. An illegitimate child like you? Aaron grits her teeth, her face contorted with silent rage and pain. Jing-yoon grinned. What a formidable face, but don't think you'll win the selection. Sudden shot. Joo-hyuk unleashes a crushing blow on the enemy. The brother continues to taunt. You only have the blessing of the constellation and I have a contract. You won't touch me. Aaron is suppressed by his words and Jing-yun indifferently looks away. Well, anyway. He opens the door, tossing a farewell. Since you refuse to live off the clan, I'll show you the true cost of your choice. His predatory gaze flashed. I'll see you in 3 weeks. Jing-young slams the door with force, leaving Aaron alone in the empty hallway. A memory, a weak arm on a hospital bed, a quiet voice calling, Aaron. Little Aaron clutches that hand in tears as she hears the admonition, you must become the head of the clan. Fulfill your wishes. Aaron closes her eyes resolutely, a new strength emerging in her gaze. Aaron's gaze is full of unwavering determination. She is ready for anything. The scene changes. We see the corridor of Valhalla Academy, Class 1A. A sudden shot. The same thug Aaron had been training with is snarling furiously, blood dripping from his mouth. In the classroom, the teacher writes midterm exams on the board, and students listen carefully. Juhyok sits at his desk, his chair creaking and his gaze expressing thoughtfulness. The little companion reminds Juhyok of his upcoming exams, but he doesn't seem particularly concerned. The teacher continues to explain, and Juhyok confesses that he usually doesn't listen in class. The teacher emphasizes, in Valhalla, exams are a matter of survival. The teacher announces a stern rule. The worst in the exams will be immediately expelled. Juhyok listens to his teacher's admonition to prepare for written and practice tests so he doesn't flunk out. Juhyok ponders. There will be no problem with the practice, but the written exam. He realizes, to stay in school and get to the eye of the great forest, you can't slack off. Juhyok turns to his companion. Hey, Varche! The man grudgingly responds, What? A sudden shot of Juhyok, standing over a defeated opponent lying on the ground with a thud. Juhyok asks Varch, You listened to most of the lectures, right? Varch confirms, Yes. Juhyok offers with a cheeky grin, Then you'll take the test for me. Varchi is completely shocked. Juhyok explains his cunning plan. When I choose an answer, just tell me if it's right or wrong. Varche objects, crossing his arms. Wouldn't that technically be using a frontman? It's not fair. Juhyok presses Varcha with a devilish grin. I'm just following the Constellation Lord's instructions, so do this for me. The teacher announces the end of the lesson. That's it. Well done, everyone. The students thank him. Juhyok grabs his backpack, getting ready to leave. Suddenly, Aaron calls out to him, Juhyok! He turns around, seeing her. What? Aaron with hope in her voice. Are we still going to practice today? His moment of triumph comes to mind. Juhyok Kim wins. That's what happens when there's no harmony. Juhyok confirms, I think so. Why do you want to stop? Aaron crumples. No, not that. He looks questioningly. Then, she dares to ask, do you want me to teach you fencing? Juhyok chuckles at her words. I thought you'd ask that. I mean, you didn't even pull out your sword after our training. Then, he offers a compromise. Maybe not fencing, but I can show you how to hold a blade properly. Juhyok adds with a serious look. Besides, it's time for me to start practicing with guns myself. Aaron excitedly agrees. Okay, come to the sparring ground next to the physical training center. They meet in Valhalla's spacious sparring arena, ready to practice. Juhyok, holding a practice sword in his hand, inquires, How long have you not practiced with the sword? Aaron sportingly admits, A month and a half. I haven't picked it up since I started training with you. Juhyok reflects on his strength, confident in his abilities as a hunter even in his new body. He clarifies with Aaron, Did you train with him daily before that? She confirms, yes. Juhyok gives the command, Very well, draw your sword. Aaron's hand resolutely clutched the hilt of her katana, preparing for battle. Aaron takes a fighting stance with a glint in her eyes and a gleaming blade. Juhyok explains, Keeping tension in your ring finger and pinky, hold the blade firmly. Aaron bewilderedly tries to repeat, The ring finger and the pinky? Her hand gripped the hilt of the katana with force in a new, unfamiliar grip. Aaron is surprised, her eyes wide with a sudden sense of control. She stands confidently, the sword in her hand seeming to come alive, emitting a slight glow. Aaron is amazed. I didn't even infuse mana, but the blade feels more secure than a two-handed grip. The camera shows Juhyok retreating to his position. A previously defeated enemy is seen in passing. Juhyok challenges with a serious look. Now attack. Use all your strength, mana, or whatever else you have. Aaron looks at him determinedly, accepting the challenge. Okay. Swords clashing with a clang, Aaron begins his attack. Juhyok and Aaron are in the training room preparing for a sword fight. Aaron takes up a fighting stance opposite Juhyok. Aaron gathers all her power, her body beginning to spark with energy. Aaron quickly pulls her sword from its sheath, and the flashes of mana continue to sparkle around her. Aaron is surprised that her blade is also released, realizing that she used too much energy. A clash ensues, with Aaron attacking and Juhyok confidently blocking the sword strike, energy flying in all directions. Juhyok notes that Aaron has started moving much faster, but clearly has something else important to add. He explains that it's not worth it for Aaron to expend so much mana in retrieving the blade. Meanwhile, their swords clash again and Aaron feels tired. At this time, several men are watching the training session on a monitor, tracking Juhyok's progress. Aaron, after listening to the advice, gathers her strength to try again. She diligently controls her movements and mana, smoothly withdrawing her blade before her next move. Aaron makes a sharp lunge, shortening the distance. She swiftly rushes at Juhyok, drawing her sword to strike. Aaron delivers a powerful upward kick, the air whistling. Joo-hyuk notes with a slight smile, "That bottom kick is good." He grips his sword tighter, preparing to show nuance. Their blades clashing, Joo-hyuk advises, "But when chopping, turn the body around a little more." Aaron, shaking off the drops of sweat from her sword, replies, "Got it." Joo-hyuk gives a predatory grin and a crunch in his neck, prodding, "Come on, attack, don't rest!" Suddenly, costumed observers discuss the slight fall of a certain Sehyeok from a simple attack. Aaron exhales, gathering her wits for another attack. Ugh. Good. Aaron attacks, sword glinting at Joo-hyuk's chest, but he is unfazed. Aaron's blade slid down his sword with a clang, sending out sparks. She takes a wide swing, blue energy following her katana. Joo-hyuk avoids a swift kick to the body with ease. Aaron's sword slams into the floor with force, leaving a crack. Joo-hyuk calmly watches Aaron breathing heavily, leaning on his sword. Aaron clutches the hilt, her thoughts, "Just as I thought." Gathering her wits, she rushes back into the attack with a fierce look. Their blades clashing again with a clang, Joo-hyuk deflecting her onslaught. Costumed observers silently watch the fight, their faces expressing tension. Aaron realizes, "I've definitely gotten stronger, thanks to training with Joo-hyuk." Joo-hyuk parries her attacks with a confident smirk, his eyes burning. Their blades clash in a fierce duel, gazes full of determination. Meanwhile, the sun is setting over the Valhalla training complex. The sparring arena sign is lit by the last rays of the passing day. In the arena, Aaron holds her defenses from the last of her strength, the floor beneath her mottled with cracks. She's breathing hard, her hands shaking with exertion, but her gaze doesn't give up. Joo-hyuk, unfazed, offers, "Has it been an hour? Let's call it a day." Aaron falls to her knees without strength, barely catching her breath after the grueling fight. He turns away, swinging his sword, and Aaron sees him off with a tired but thoughtful look. Meanwhile, the head of the O clan Cheolshin is pondering, "Fools, and they call this a simple attack?" Aaron notes thoughtfully to herself, "My sword technique has definitely gotten cleaner." A close-up of her determined eye, but still. As Joo-hyuk warms up, she thinks, "I couldn't even touch him." Aaron wipes her sweat, admitting to herself, "Of course, that's why I asked him for a lesson." She calls out to Joo-hyuk, and he turns around questioningly. Aaron asks hopefully, "Will you spar with me again next time?" Joo-hyuk scratches his chin thoughtfully, pondering, "I don't know." In his thoughts, sparring with Aaron is definitely rewarding. Teaching her is enjoyable despite her simple-mindedness. Joo-hyuk looks at Aaron, remembering, "From the ceremony itself, her technique seems strangely familiar to me, as if it's only the breathing that's different." Joo-hyuk reflects. Aaron's familiar technique helps him regain his former skills, and 300 years ago he would have taken her on as an apprentice. Meanwhile, Cheolshin thinks of his son. He has never learned martial arts, but easily dodges any blows from his peers. Aaron asks Joo-hyuk with hope in her voice, "So are we going to spar some more?" Joo-hyuk with a sly grin decides to tease her and replies, "No." Aaron flinches and snickers, and Joo-hyuk is surprised. "Huh? Why did you give up so quickly?" She replies with firmness, "Because everything you say, Joo-hyuk, is right." Aaron is confident. "And if I follow Joo-hyuk's advice, I'll definitely get even stronger." Joo-hyuk is slightly puzzled by her absolute trust and says, "Well, okay then. That's it for today, at least." Aaron says goodbye. "See you next time, Joo-hyuk," as they leave the sparring area. The camera shows the arena of Valhalla, where a huge crowd has gathered. So-young-yu looks around the arena, here for the first time since the ceremony. Sehyeok is surprised at the magnitude of the gathering of all the freshmen. Cheolshin glumly pondered, but that final blow was unstoppable. Aaron stands silently in the crowd of students, her gaze focused. Joo-hyuk appears, perplexed. Why is everyone here?" The little companion reminds Joo-hyuk of the class teacher's long-ago announcement. The instructor steps forward, ready to announce the Valhalla midterm. He announces, "The practical part of the exam is a dungeon sweep." The students are excited about the news. They are to team up for the raid. The ground shakes, heralding the entrance to the man-made dungeon. Students gathered in the arena in a dense crowd awaiting instructions. The teacher announces, "The composition of the teams is at your discretion, ideally 8 people." Joo-hyuk listens intently. "Your contribution to the raid will be judged solely on your contribution to the raid." A flashback, Sehyeok rushes into attack after being provoked by Joo-hyuk. A timer for 5 o'clock appears. The instructor continues, "The disqualification criterion is..." "Fail to meet the allotted time," the instructor concludes sternly. Aaron and the other students tensed up when they learned the difficulty of the dungeon is F+. Okay, the exam is starting, decisively commands the teacher. A huge timer starts counting down from 5 o'clock. Students immediately begin frantically assembling teams, shouting out names. Cheolshin-o and his assistant observe, noting that the students are caught off guard. Cheolshin-o frowned, pondering the situation. And yet, So-young-yu is among the students, one of them concerned about the lack of attackers on the team. So-young is confident. There's no need to find someone better than me. 5 hours is enough for a sweep. Cheolshin's memory. His son used all of his mana in an effort to end the fight. So-young-yu picks a team. The most important thing is everyone's contribution. I need 6 people who are not bad but not too strong. So-young urges. It may seem easy, but standing out won't be easy. Come on, everyone follow me. Cheolshin-o notes. Of course, the students of the 5 great clans understood the essence of this test well. He continues, as for the others, they either go in groups of 20 people, or they choose the standard approach, a squad of 8 fighters. Cheolshin-o concludes, or fighting because of the team's imbalance, one of 3 options. He instructs the assistant, in half an hour everyone will be in. Start preparing the evaluation. Ju-hyuk watches alone as the other students leave in groups. He ponders, has the evaluation already begun since some have entered the dungeon? Ju-hyuk hesitates for a moment. In that case, huh? Something or someone distracts him. Cheolshin thought again. However, at that moment, Ju-hyuk dodged with a simple tilt of his head. Aaron stands alone as well, waiting for the others to form teams. Ju-hyuk walks up to her. You still haven't gotten in? No, Aaron replies. Ju-hyuk is surprised. Almost everyone is already there. What are you going to do? Aaron replies with complete confidence. I'll do whatever you say, Ju-hyuk. Ju-hyuk looks at Aaron puzzled, not understanding her blind trust. He ponders. What's wrong with her? After sparring, she catches every word I say. Ju-hyuk announces to Aaron, I'm going alone. You can do what you want. Aaron clarifies, so, do I have to go alone too? Ju-hyuk replies carelessly, sure, if you want. I don't think it will be difficult. Ju-hyuk walks away, and Aaron silently escorts him with a look. Aaron stares after him thoughtfully, pondering his words. Cheolshin thought again. Confident of the hit, Se-hyuk shifted his center of gravity forward with the force of the throw. The other students notice Aaron. Hey, isn't that Aaron Choi? I think so. Why is she alone? Doesn't she have a team? One of the students approaches Aaron. You're Aaron Choi, right? He offers, if you don't have a team, do you want to join us? There are 7 of us. With you, there will be exactly 8. Aaron politely declines. Sorry, I'll go alone. The student is shocked. 1? You'll be disqualified. But Aaron is already opening the door. She's confident. I can do it. Ju-hyuk said it wouldn't be hard. The guy tries to stop her. What? Well, wait! Aaron enters the dungeon, the door closing behind her with a rumble. General view of the Valhalla arena. Many dungeon entrances are scattered around the field. In the monitoring room, Valhalla staff members watch students on screens. Cheolshin thought again as Ju-hyuk dodged easily, and Se-hyuk's punch hit the ground. Assistant Cheolshin. O stares thoughtfully at the clipboard, analyzing the situation. In one of the monitors, 3 students have a frightening encounter with a monster in a dungeon. A score flashes on the screen. Young Yun-yoon is only 2 points. Yejibe gets 3 points, her face expressing slight concern. Jin Soo-yoon earns only 1 point, clearly unhappy with the result. Instructor Lee quickly flips through the student data on the holographic screen. Assistant Cheolshin-o observes while muttering, as always. He thinks, to a stranger his assessment will seem hasty, but it is impeccably accurate. Combat instructor Sanchal Lee is a legendary sweepmaster with a 99% success rate, the information pops up. The aide enthused. He understands the essence of raids like no one else, hence the accuracy of the assessments. Instructor Lee's gloved hand slides lightning fast across the interface. Sanchal Lee, arms crossed, continues to analyze the data on the glowing screen. Instructor Lee notes, overall, the students this year are pretty good. He looks at the monitors. Naturally, the disciples of the 5 great clans are performing excellently. Lee continues thoughtfully. Among them, the most outstanding student is... So-young-yu appears on the screen, and the instructor singles her out. Team Soyeon in battle. Tanks hold the front, gunners cover the flanks. The huge club-wielding monster roared furiously, swinging for a strike. The monster's blow lands on the student's shield, the student barely holding back the onslaught. So-young commanded decisively, "Don't let them break through the front line." The two archers synchronously release arrows, holding back the enemies. Cheolshin-oh thought again. Ju-hyuk moved faster than Sejok had time to think, anticipating his attack. The monster growls in pain, having been hit in the chest. So-young soars into the air, bringing his sword over the monster's head. A powerful chopping blow from So-young lands on the enemy. The body of the defeated monster begins to disintegrate into blue particles. The monster's head dissolves into a stream of digital data. Instructor Lee is impressed. It was an exemplary strategy. He notes So-yeon intelligently assigned roles and assembled a team for the sweep. Lee is confident. If So-young keeps this up, she will return to the top of the rankings. The instructor recalls, had it not been for the Ju-hyuk incident, her grades would have been flawless. Speaking of him, how's Ju-hyuk doing? Lee searches for his name in the system. Deputy O clenched his fist. He has a truly monstrous talent. Instructor Lee's monitor reads, "No search results found." Lee is puzzled. What? This search finds everyone inside the dungeon. A hunch hits him. He quickly switches the screen. Maybe in front of him is a list, intermediate exam, artificial dungeon clearance. And first on the list is Ju-hyuk Kim, status, cleared, time, 002332. Close-up, Ju-hyuk Kim, class 1A, tops the leaderboard. Lee is shocked. He's already mopped up, alone, without a group. The incredible numbers on the timer, 23 minutes, 32 seconds. Lee mutters, "Such a time for a 17-year-old. We need to watch the tape." Lee presses play to see a recording of Ju-hyuk's passing. Instructor Lee mutters, clearly intrigued by the time he's seen. A beep sounds and the dungeon recording loads onto the screen. The footage shows Ju-hyuk standing calmly with his sword at the entrance to the dungeon. In front of him, an angry mob of goblins appears out of the darkness. Ju-hyuk stretches his neck with a slight smirk, preparing for battle. He swiftly rushes right into the thick of the advancing monsters. The two goblins on the front lines freeze, noticing his sudden attack. The monsters scream in horror, not expecting such audacity from a loner. Ju-hyuk's eyes flash red. He strikes with incredible speed. There was a flash of light, and the goblins' heads flew apart. Another monster hanging from the ceiling, growling viciously. Meanwhile, other influential people have also noticed Ju-hyuk's value. Ju-hyuk demolishes the forest goblin with one powerful purple stroke. He lands, sword at the ready, gaze full of cold determination. Two big goblins with clubs appear in front of him. He only grins. Wow. The monsters roared furiously, rushing to attack with their mouths grinning. Their clubs crash to the floor with force, raising a cloud of dust. Ju-hyuk deftly dodges, leaping over the stunned foes. A U-turn and his sword is already cleaving the orcs, clearing the way. Ju-hyuk continues to slice through the enemies. Dismissed! Signs flashing up one after another. Instructor Lee and his colleagues are watching with tension, Lee visibly nervous. A huge stone foot appears on the screen, shaking the ground. It's the dungeon boss. A close-up of the instructor's face as he says, Ju-hyuk Kim. Ju-hyuk stands alone in front of the giant armored golem, the boss of the exam. Lai explains, this golem is made specifically for the exam, designed for a group of 8. The golem swings its massive fist with a roar, aiming for Ju-hyuk. Ju-hyuk counters the attack with a cocky grin, putting his arm out in front of him. His sword, shrouded in a red aura, crashed into the stone giant's chest with force. The golem's helmet flew off with a clatter, marking a crushing blow. Ju-hyuk pierces the giant's chest with his sword. The giant begins to glitch and disintegrate. Instructor Lee grins. The screen reads, "Golem out!" A close-up of his eye, Lee announces, "Looks like first place in the exam goes to Ju-hyuk Kim!" The winner stands with his sword, looking up confidently. Lee looks after Ju-hyuk, deciding, "I will lure you into my clan at any cost." Meanwhile, the exhausted students leave the dungeon, supporting each other. The other group comes out more animatedly, discussing the results. Seo-young-yu stands in the crowd, her face expressing thoughtfulness and slight disappointment. A blonde-haired student stands next to her with a tense and serious look. Seo-young-yu, with torn clothes and signs of battle, stares off into the distance, clearly tired. Ju-hyuk stands with his back to the viewer. The caption reads, "Interim exams completed." Instructor Lee is in the teacher's lounge looking at something on a tablet. On the tablet screen, practical exam results. Ju-hyuk Kim is confidently in the lead. Lee looks slightly puzzled looking at the staggering results. An older man, probably a superior, approaches Lee. The results are here. The camera shows an empty lighted arena, symbolizing the end of the ordeal. The senior instructor turns to Lee. I won't say everything went according to plan, but Joo-hyuk Kim took first place by a huge margin. The man with his arms crossed adds, though it's not quite what we expected. Lee recalls Joo-hyuk's fierce battle while the older man says, we were expecting first place, but we didn't think he would pass solo without getting injured. The elderly instructor thoughtfully concludes, if he continues to grow, he can bring the title of strongest back to Korea. Lee confirms to the older man, yes, this is the title of the strongest contract player in the world. The senior instructor ponders if he's getting too carried away seeing so much talent. Lee, looking at the clipboard, mentions another unexpected twist in the exam. The senior instructor says the name with a serious look, Aaron Choi. Tablet reveals, Aaron Choi is in second place ahead of Soyoung-yu. It turns out that Aaron Choi also challenged the dungeon single-handedly. Enthusiastic fans with hearts in their eyes raucously support Aaron. Aaron, though shabby, successfully made it through the dungeon alone. Lee is surprised. He knew Aaron was diligent, but he didn't expect her to go solo. Senior explains, because of the assessment of personal contribution rather than teamwork, Aaron and Joo-hyuk received high scores. A senior instructor cautions, their methods are not for regular students. Lee, with tablet in hand, agrees, yes sir, it's definitely not for everyone. Lee says the name thoughtfully, Aaron Choi, his face expressing surprise. He remembers Aaron as a diligent student, practicing hard with a sword. Lee suggests doubtfully, is it because of Joo-hyuk Kim? He slaps his forehead, warding off the thoughts, no, what am I even thinking? The sun rises over the academy. Lee decides to get ready for the announcement of grades. Joo-hyuk looks at Aaron surrounded by enthusiastic fans and snickers, what a bunch of perverts. The next day, a crowd of students are animatedly discussing something at the bulletin board. The results of the exam are on the board. Joo-hyuk Kim is first, Aaron Choi is second, and Soyoung-yu is third. The names of the exam leaders, Joo-hyuk Kim and Aaron Choi, are close up on the board. New faces appear, Rockdil Bentrick and Yuria de Palace, and he clenches his fist. Rockdil asks Yuri, Desera is in Korea right now, right? With a determined look, Rockdil declares, I need to see him immediately. Get ready to leave campus. The camera moves to the nighttime Seoul neighborhood of Jamsil, lit by the lights of skyscrapers. We see a cozy bistro with a summer terrace flooded with warm light. Rockdil in a strict suit and Yuria enter the establishment and are greeted by a staff member. Inside, someone calls out to Rockdil, hey bro, raising his hand in greeting. Suddenly, the image of Yoo-hyuk, ready for the final battle of the ranking competition, flashes by. Dicer Bentrick, a scarred man, sits at the table and waves. It's been a while. Rockdil and Yuria meet with Desera Bentrick at a restaurant. Dicer grins with a predatory grin as she digs into the juicy steak. He casts an assessing glance at Rockdil and Yuria, waiting for an explanation. Rockdil is visibly nervous, a drop of sweat protruding on his forehead. Desera, putting aside her forks, wonders, so who is he, this Joo-hyuk Kim? Rockdil replies with a contemptuous grin, nobody special, a first-generation orphan with no connections. He adds angrily, that dork made a laughingstock out of me, make him pay. Desera's eye flashes red, he asks, I can kill him, can I? Rockdil replies with a sly smile, that's for you to decide. Suddenly the scene changes as Aaron Choi is ready to fight. The caption reads, Joo-hyuk Kim versus Aaron Choi. Desera demands that Rockdil prepare thoroughly, not like last time. Rockdil is surprised. Preparations? Desera points her finger at Yuri, reminding him, remember how you wanted that girl? Yuria flinches at the mention. Desera continues, I had a major run-in with the Palace clan over her. Yuria shivers in horror, Desera explains. The Palace clan was insignificant, so their destruction is little known. Desera, eating a steak, remarks, but the bastards of Valhalla are a different matter. Even I won't have an easy time making a mess there. Rockdil replies with a serious look. I understand, looking at Desera as he continues his meal. Rockdil promises with a smug smirk. I'll have everything perfectly prepared for you, don't worry. Yuria looks worried in the background. Desera agrees with a predatory smile. Fine, and make sure the reward for me is appropriate. The caption reads, 1 week later. Joo-hyuk Kim's hand holds a letter of resignation with the reason off-campus walk. Joo-hyuk walks calmly down the academy corridor. Someone asks in surprise, another furlough? to which he replies briefly, "Uh-huh." Aaron prepares for battle with his sword. Juhyuk watches nonchalantly. Juhyuk's mysterious assistant is surprised by his new furlough. Juhyuk is determined. "I'm going to find the rest of my secret stashes." The aide inquires, "Where are you going this time?" Juhyuk answers briefly, "Suwon," and we have a view of the ancient fortress in front of us. In civilian clothes, Juhyuk walks down a forest path, checking his phone. He stops, looking around. "I think it's around here somewhere." The sudden call makes Juhyuk wary, his gaze becoming sharp. Desera Bentrick emerges from the shadows with a predatory grin. "Nice to meet you." The scene changes, a dingy skyscraper in Market District 7 under a full moon. Inside a skyscraper, a man in a suit looks out at the nighttime city through a panoramic window. Yuria de Pallas appears with a sword, her eyes full of determination. In front of us is a mysterious man wearing a black cat mask and a strict coat. The masked man sighs heavily, looking out at the lights of the night city. A sudden beep makes him wary, a light reflecting on his mask. A message appears on the digital screen. The ruler of the other side asks when the ring will arrive. The masked man replies into the void, "It is on its way, Lord Constellation, soon to be delivered through the portal." The screen begins flashing furiously. The ruler of the other side reports that she is at her limit. The masked man anxiously asks, "What's going on?" looking at the repeated message. He ponders. "I've been following the relics of the Age of End at the behest of the former Black Cat, but this is the first time I've seen such a reaction." The man in the cat mask sees a glowing portal activate in front of him. A mysterious black box materializes from a portal on the platform. Sudden shot. Juhyuk Kim standing in profile with a barely perceptible smile. The masked man approaches the box, hoping its contents will calm her down. He opens the box. Inside lies a ring with a shimmering stone. The ring emits a powerful purple glow, filling the space with energy. The masked man takes the ring, reporting, "Lord Constellation, the ring has been delivered." His eyes glowing yellow, he calls out questioningly, "Lord Constellation?" Suddenly, an alarm message appears on the screen. "He's coming." The masked man's face contorts in horror, eyes turning white as the message is repeated over and over. Juhyuk and Desera come face to face on a forest trail in Suwon. Juhyuk asks with a wary look and red eyes, "Who are you?" Desera, with a predatory grin and scarred face, replies, "Do you need to know?" Short shot. Aaron and Juhyuk confronting each other on the training ground. Juhyuk, back in the woods, calmly suggests, "I suppose you want something from me?" Desera confirms with a chuckle, "Right. Why else would I go to that mountaintop?" Juhyuk, narrowing his eyes, asks bluntly, "Does this have anything to do with wanting to get rid of me?" Desera smiles wickedly against the red glow, "And you're a quick thinker." Juhyuk nonchalantly removes his backpack, replying, "Not really." He tosses his backpack to the ground, adding, "Anyone would have guessed," Desera observes. Scarlet-eyed, Juhyuk parries, "You have it written all over your face." Desera is furious, his fists cracking with tension. "You little puppy." He clenches his ringed fist. "You think you're all-powerful because of grades?" Desera rushes to the attack with a shout, "So don't disappoint me!" Brief flashback. Juhyuk is at the academy analyzing his opponent. Is she waiting for my attack? Back in the woods, Dicer strikes with fury with a powerful blow. Juhyuk dodges coldly, and Desera's fist flies past. The impact is so strong that the tree behind Juhyuk's back shatters into splinters. Desera hums, looking at the result of her barrel attack. Close-up. Deep cracks are spreading along the split wood. Juhyuk is unfazed as Desera points to the crushed tree. Desera grins angrily. "Lucky you. If you hadn't dodged it, you'd be dead." The scarlet-eyed Juhyuk parries. "Lucky? I dodged it because you're slow." Juhyuk's gaze becomes serious. He analyzes. But he admits to himself as he looks at the wreckage. He definitely has the power, perhaps even more than Sehyuk-oh. Flashback, Juhyuk remembers Aaron, noting her ability to read the situation. Juhyuk soberly assesses, "In my current body, it's dangerous to block such blows." A slight smirk appears on Juhyuk's face. "Well then, dealing with him will be easy." Juhyuk suddenly turns around and rushes away. Desera is stunned. "Huh?" Desera lunges in fury. "Are you trying to escape?" Desera smirks, thinking Juhyuk's escape was the best solution for him. He's sure Juhyuk would have been beaten to death if he hadn't run. But of course. Desera is screaming in rage. There's no escaping him so easily. Juhyuk stops abruptly as if his pursuer is being too chatty. Suddenly, Juhyok is right in front of Desera, sarcastically asking, "What are you, a tongue twister?" Desera is shocked. "When did he get so close? I didn't even notice the fist." Juhyok smiles predatorily, anticipating, "Well, then..." Crackle lands a jab to the jaw. Dicer takes a crushing blow to the jaw. Juhyok lands a lightning-fast uppercut that sends Desera flying. Desera falls to the ground with a clatter, flying away from the force of the blow. Dicer lies on the ground, dazed and with a drop of sweat on his face. Juhyok, with glowing eyes and a wicked grin, slides his foot in for a kick. Desera dodges a crushing leg kick at the last moment. A powerful body kick from Juhyok leaves a huge crack in the ground. Desera looks at the destruction left by Juhyok's foot with obvious shock. Close-up of Desera, he struggles to pronounce, "Wow!" Juhyok looks down at Desera, grinning, "Lucky you, huh?" Short shot, Juhyok in his school uniform confronts a girl with white hair and a gun. Desera's face contorted with rage and he gritted his teeth. "You bastard!" Desera rises, wiping the blood from her lip, and asks, "Who are you, really?" Juhyok replies with a slight smirk, "I thought you'd have figured it out by now. I was the best at Valhalla." Desera grimaced, pondering, Juhyok Kim, just how many elixirs did he absorb? Deciding to open up, Desera begins, "I'm from the Bentrick clan, though I'm from a side branch." Flashback. Young Desera drinks potion. Parents crave status. My gift was used for their ambition. A shining flask in the center of attention, and this gift is a unique compatibility with elixirs. Close up, the Desera child greedily gulps down another dose of power. He explains his ability, "I have internalized any potion, even fabulously expensive potions." The shards of an expensive flask on the floor are a symbol of his journey full of sacrifice and expectation. Back in the present, Juhyok takes a slow step, his scarlet eyes never taking his eyes off Desera. Desera continues the story by recalling her youth. "Already at 16, I surpassed the strength of adults." Desera recalls, "My parents wanted to use me for recognition in the clan, but..." The young Desera, already possessing power, looks at their silhouettes with disdain. His face contorts into a predatory grin that portends defiance. The parents are horrified. Dicer wasn't going to live up to their dictates. A grim shot. Someone in his family is defeated. A hint of cruelty. Desera stands over the bodies. "I had great power. Why do I need their recognition?" A stern-looking woman appears, probably an important figure in the Bentrick clan. "I was like a bone in their throat. The deputy clan had banished me." Desera smirks, "But I didn't care, I was free from their shackles." Sudden shot, a girl with white hair and a katana ready to fight. Desera recalls, "Rockdill's money played a role, but my interest in Juhyok was stronger." He continues, "Juhyok took first place in Valhalla and even chased away the guild agents." Dicer was anticipating what a fun toy he would turn out to be, and lightly planned the reprisal. Back in the present, Desera clenched his fists, his eyes burning with rage. "But..." He looks at the calm Juhyok, perplexed. "Why the hell is this guy so strong?" Juhyok looks at him calmly, mouthing, "Hey." Desera wipes the blood from her lip. "What elixirs did you take?" "An orphan couldn't afford them." Juhyok interjects with a slight smirk. "What?" Suddenly, Juhyok bursts into loud laughter, puzzling Desera. Juhyok covers his mouth, laughing. "You joker! I thought you were going to say, 'But elixirs?'" Juhyok continues to laugh, and Desera, clenching her fists, surrounds herself with a blue aura. Desera looks at Juhyok with hatred. "I didn't mistake you for an elixir junkie." Shivering with anger, Desera asks, "Then what? Are you saying you've gotten stronger without them?" Juhyok grinned, crunching his knuckles. "Of course not. I've gotten stronger through constant training." He continues, looking away. "I was comparing you to Sehyako in my head, but..." Juhyok's words make Desera mad. To compare him, a born jock, to you is disrespectful. Close-up of Desera's eyes full of rage. "That bastard! He leaves me no choice!" Desera reaches for the dagger on her belt. This power can't be used in a situation like this, but... Desera snatches up a dagger shrouded in an ominous purple aura. Juhyok looks at his opponent seriously, noting, "This mana..." Desera clutches the dagger, purple energy pulsing. "I can feel the power building up!" The spectators in the stands were shocked. At 17 years old to master an attribute transformation? Desera's eye flashes with an ominous light. He growls the name, Juhyok Kim. Juhyok rushes in to attack as Desera prepares herself. "I'm not going to let you rest in peace, huh?" Close up, Juhyok deftly dodges Desera's sudden counterattack. Juhyok parries with a snide chuckle. Are you completely dumb? Without letting up, Juhyok hits Desera. Thought I'd give you time to transform? Desera squirmed in pain after the powerful blow, exhaling, Ahem! Red-eyed Juhyok brings his fist in for a crushing blow. A powerful hook from Juhyok slams right into the face of a stunned Desera. Dicer recoils, his face contorted in pain from the crushing blow. Juhyok stops him abruptly, keeping him from falling. Wait. Sudden flashback, Juhyok in his school uniform looks at someone with a glowing flask. Juhyok grabs Desera by the hair. He lets out a pained groan. Juhyok, already in different clothes, grins. You can't pass out yet, not after so many elixirs. He continues with a threat. If you were just fighting, I would have stopped, but you wanted to take me out. A close-up of his scarlet eyes. Besides, I have questions. Juhyok clenches his fist, looking at the beaten Desera. So for now? With a mad grin, Juhyok swings around. Try my fists! Scene change. Valhalla's dormitory, Rockdill's room. He sits depressed on the couch. Rockdill smugly pondered. Desera should have dealt with Juhyok by now. He smirks, thinking, given his temper, he probably finished him off. Rockdill turns around and calls out, Yuria! And the girl immediately responds. Meanwhile, someone is striding determinedly down the street. Rockdill nonchalantly orders Yuria, make me some tea. Suddenly his phone vibrates, causing Rockdill to turn around. Desera pops up on the screen, and Rockdill's face contorts into a mad grin. Rockdill answers the phone with anticipation. Hello, did you take care of him? A tense silence hangs on the other end of the wire. Rockdill's confidence is replaced by confusion. Hello? Rockdill is horrified. There's clearly something wrong on the other end of the wire. Juhyok's voice scoffed. You can't understand him? Of course he does, his jaw is dislocated. It's Juhyok. With the phone beating Desera, he smirks at Rockdill. Let me translate his mooing, Juhyok offers with a cold chuckle. A sharp change of frame, Yuri's eyes flash with purple fire. It's time. Juhyok relays to Rockdill. He's asking for 2 aroma sticks for his funeral. Remember that name, Rockdill Bentrick? Juhyok's voice is full of menace. Silence in reply. Juhyok calls out, Hello, Rockdill. Disappeared? Click, the call is cut off. Juhyok puts the phone down. The bastard hung up on me, Juhyok croaks. What a bore. Juhyok pronounces thoughtfully, Well. He looks at the defeated Desera, pondering, What am I supposed to do with you? Meanwhile, in Rockdill's room, Yuria pours tea into an elegant cup. Yuria serves tea to Rockdill. Your tea is ready. Rockdill sits silently with his fists clenched, clearly out of sorts. A bright flash flashes through his thoughts, a memory of Juhyok's power. Yuria tries to continue, but Rockdill barks, Shut up, put it down and get out! After obediently setting the tea down, Yuria leaves and Rockdill begins to shake with anger. Juhyok Kim! Juhyok Kim! Rockdill can't contain his rage as he repeats his name. He is furious. I never thought he would defeat Lyric and Desera. How do I destroy him? Rockdill panicked. Now he knows I'm behind everything. Has Desera cracked the traitor? He clutches his head. At this rate, the rumors will reach the Bentrick clan. The situation is out of control. Rockdill tries to calm down. Wait a minute, though. Maybe it's not that bad. He reasoned, sitting on the couch. After all, he's from down under, right? He's not going to prove anything to anyone. Rockdill frowned. But just in case, better lay low. I'll keep an eye on Juhyok. Meanwhile, hooded Juhyok is walking determinedly down the path. Suddenly, a white-haired girl in uniform with a shining sword in a fighting stance. A voice out of nowhere asks Juhyok, Are you just going to leave that guy there? Juhyok keeps walking. I'll report on him later. There's enough information for now. There's nothing to do here. His mysterious masked companion objects, wouldn't it have been easier to finish him off? Juhyok confesses, I'm not Hyuno Kim anymore, I'm schoolboy Juhyok Kim. The masked companion replies thoughtfully, but something is bothering me. The image of Desera shrouded in dark mana with a dagger comes to mind. The mana that guy was emitting. The companion continues, recalling, she seemed strangely familiar. Juhyok is surprised. Familiar? And the companion is confident. I've definitely felt one of those before. Juhyok waves it off. Not really, that kind of dark mana was used by monsters 300 years ago. Companion quips, you don't seem to be good at discerning mana, to which Juhyok growls, Shut up! A white-haired girl in uniform with 2 daggers suddenly appears, puzzled. The companion suggests, maybe it's the power associated with that blade from the past? Juhyuk, already hoodless, asks someone with a serious face. So, who put you up to this? Desera, leaning against a tree, can barely moan in pain. Juhyuk scratches the back of his head. Oh yeah, I dislocated your jaw. He grabs Dicer's chin mercilessly, opening his mouth. With a loud crunch, Juhyuk sets his jaw, warning, this is gonna hurt a little. Desera squirms, rubbing her jaw while Juhyuk calmly watches. Now, Juhyuk leans closer, who gave you the order? Dicer is silent, horror and drops of sweat on his face. Juhyuk waits patiently, his gaze piercing. Flashback to a memory, someone's mocking voice. If you show with your eyes where you're hitting, it's easy to dodge. I set your jaw so I can hear the answer. Juhyuk grabs Dicer's hand. Juhyuk squeezes Desera's fingers. You think keeping quiet will help you? Desera is horrified beyond comprehension. What? Why are you holding my fingers? Juhyuk's sinister smirk foreshadows Desera's unbearable pain. Desera yelps as Juhyuk applies force to his arm. You should have answered at once, Juhyuk throws coldly. Speak or I'll go on. Grinning, Desera finally squeezes out. Rockdill Bentrick sent me. Juhyuk recalls the cocky guy. The one who bullied me? I thought so. And who are you to take orders from this pup? Juhyuk questioned. You're not from Valhalla. Who are you affiliated with? Desera grinned enigmatically. My affiliation? You'll find out in time. Suddenly, Juhyuk in his school uniform stands behind the white-haired swordswoman's back. The atmosphere is heating up. Juhyuk winks. What, 2 fingers not enough? Desera only flinches in pain. Desera proudly declares, I am of the greatest race, a mercenary working for pay. Juhyuk frowns. I've heard of that race. You're just a smug bandit, not a mercenary. Desera snaps back. We're trash to you? You just got lucky this time. The greatest race serves the constellation of the Blade of Shadow, Desera reveals, and I am its contractor. He smirks. Another half a minute to collect mana and things would be different. Juhyuk scratches the back of his head. You're such a talker. If you just told me who you were, I'd have left you alone. But you... Juhyuk grabs Desera's chin sharply and he moos in surprise. With a chilling smile, Juhyuk concludes, you'd be better off not talking at all. Desera's heartbreaking screams erupt. Juhyuk has carried out his threat. The white-haired swordswoman was shocked. What? Upon hearing Desera's shriek, Juhyuk searches his phone. The greatest race is a group of villains who worship the Blade constellation from the shadow. He walks down the street thinking, I knew it. I've heard that name somewhere before. Juhyuk is annoyed. I'm pissed off that I haven't found my warehouse and this Rockdill guy is also trying to kill me on the sly. He looks forward determinedly. Rockdill, how would I teach this puppy a lesson? Juhyuk hums, looking at his phone. Well, modern problems require modern solutions. On the phone's screen, a list of audio recordings. First, I recorded all of Desera's confessions. Juhyuk ponders the next step. Now we need to find a place to publicize this. Suddenly a phone vibrates on someone's desk, an incoming call from Juhyuk. The white-haired guy with glasses looks surprised at the ringing phone. Huh? A white-haired guy with glasses cheerfully answers the phone. Juhyuk, decided to be my assistant? A sudden shot. A white-haired swordswoman stabs someone with a glowing red blade. The hooded Juhyuk smiles slyly into the phone. No, but don't you know any journalists? The newspaper headline screams, Attempted murder of Valhalla student by Bentrick clan. News clippings are flying, Rockdill's arrest, academy photos, the scandal is gaining momentum. The forum is hotly debated. This is what happened when the Bentrick clan attacked a Valhalla student. Commentators on the forum admire Juhyuk and discuss the failure of Bentricks. Juhyuk is at home, satisfied, looking at his phone. Now that's what I call modern warfare. Sputnik notes, for someone from the past, you've adapted very well, Juhyuk agrees, learning from the news and forums. Juhyuk adds, leafing through his phone, I've learned how to figure people out because of this. Juhyuk pronounces thoughtfully, but something is missing, the companion clarifies. What do you mean? He looks at the news about the Bentrick clan, only wanted to frame Rockdill, and now their entire clan is under attack. The white-haired swordswoman is shocked, her face contorted with horror at the scale of the scandal. Juhyuk admits, looking into his phone, the journalist Lilia turned out to be a bumpkin. I didn't expect such a resonance. A representative of the Bentrick clan in a strict suit walks to the podium for the press conference. Under the camera flashes, she bows, preparing to make a statement on behalf of the clan. First of all, we apologize to the injured student and to Valhalla Academy, she begins. She continues firmly, this is the Bentrick clan's official position on this case. First of all, the incident is the work of Desere, who has already been expelled from our clan, she states. Flipping through the papers, she states, Desere's words about Rockdale's order are lies for self-defense. We have proof. Repsor Bentrick cuts off. So the incident has nothing to do with our clan. She flips through the papers. But since a former member is involved, we feel a moral responsibility. As head of the clan, I will personally apologize to the victim. Clicks and camera flashes rumbled. Duhyok nonchalantly watches this statement from the sidelines. Of Rochdale, she adds, though not directly involved, we suspect his indirect ties to the villains. We'll bring him home for an internal investigation. The prosecutor's office has also started a check. She promises full cooperation. She bows deeply to the incessant flashes and clicks of shutters. The reporters are saying, wait, no questions. How will you apologize to the victim? Rockdale watches the broadcast on his phone, his hands shaking from what he's seen. Rockdale's face is contorted with horror and cold sweat. He's in complete shock. Rockdale's phone vibrates, an incoming call from father. Rockdale, sweating, hesitantly replies, hello. His father orders over the phone, Rockdale, come back to England for a while. That's an order from the clan head. Rockdale clenched his teeth. Yes, sir. Someone's hand grips the hilt of the katana tightly, hinting at severe punishment. Rockdale shivers on the couch, his sister standing behind him. He groans, ahem. Rockdale's sister looks at him with cold judgment as he yells, shit! The next day, the majestic academy building stands before us. Someone is watching the news. Desera gives an interview. The headline reads, Desera, there's nothing behind it. Desera states in the interview, the Bentrick clan is right. I acted alone. Juhok walks down the hallway looking at his phone. What, they just cut off the tail? He frowns. Those Bentrick's bastards, their whole family is not to my liking. Juhyok pondered. And why would the clan head personally apologize? It would be so embarrassing. His face expresses displeasure and thoughtfulness about the upcoming meeting. Juhyok and his backpack head toward the teacher's lounge door. Suddenly, Erin is in a fierce fighting stance, her katana emitting blue energy. Juhyok decides, class ended early. I'll stop by and see her. I have a favor to ask. In front of us is a cafe on the Valhalla campus. A white-haired guy with glasses shines, looking happily at someone. Juhyok drinks something from a glass and replies briefly, no. Aaron resents the rejection, Juhyok parries. You wanted to make me an assistant, that's obvious. Pouting her lips, Aaron wondered, then why did you call me? I'm busy, aren't I? She stands up abruptly. Wait, are you asking me out on a date? Juhyok says coldly, dream on. Aaron, offended, remarks, you're starting to act disrespectful. Juhyok calmly admits, I haven't been particularly respectful in a long time. He explains the purpose of the meeting. I didn't call you here to chat, but to thank you for introducing me to the reporter. Juhyok recalls the fight. So she was able to block the sword strike, no wonder I didn't feel the hit. In gratitude, he offers info on monster hunting. Aaron immediately perks up. Really? Juhyok asks for help getting out this weekend in exchange for more information. Aaron gladly agrees. Against the backdrop of the sunset over the academy, Juhyok once again rejects her offer to be an assistant. No, I won't. The vast waters of the North Pacific set a somber tone. The AL-08 prisoner transport ship is breaking the waves. Desera sits in the flight chamber, his gaze fixed on the floor. Damn, I didn't expect to be taken by ship. To the prison tower? Flashes through his mind. The ominous prison tower in the middle of the ocean appears before us. This place, created by the S-rank constellation, will invalidate any contracted person. Desera grins crookedly. It doesn't matter anymore, though. Suddenly, Aaron, trembling, clutches the katana. He's strong. Desera recalls the deal. The Bentrick clan offered to reduce my sentence to 5 years if I kept quiet about Rochdale. With his hands tied, he resigns himself to it. I'll just have to rot for 5 years. Desera grinned grimly with cuts on her face. What a pity. Suddenly, he turns around in horror. Who was that? A red flash cuts through the darkness of the camera. The blade pierces Dysera's chest, blood spurting. Dicer coughs up blood, his face contorted with pain. A dark figure with a knife looms over the defeated Desera. The assassin with glowing red eyes smirked maliciously. Die, fool! The greatest race does not need such a clown. Desera wheezes, blood spurting from his wound, life leaving him. Someone's gloved hand touches the surface, observing what is happening. Desera's body falls lifelessly to the floor in a pool of blood. The knife-wielding killer stands over Desera's breathless body. The ominous silhouette of an assassin with a red aura dissolves into darkness. Bentrick Manor under a full moon. The head of the Bentrick clan looks sternly at someone. Rockdill and his father, Ethan Bentrick, stand with their heads down. The clan head turns to Rockdill with icy calm. Rockdill, dousing himself in sweat, answers fearfully, Yes? And what are you going to do about it? Asks the head, Rockdill perplexed. Father and son Bentricka bow low, apologizing, I'm sorry. Meanwhile, Juhyok stops Arin by intercepting her hand with the katana. The head of the Bentrick clan coldly clarifies, That's it? She looks at Rockdill. You think an apology will solve everything? The chapter requires Rockdill to give a detailed report of what happened. Her gaze piercing, she begins her interrogation. So, Rockdill admits that he pulled Juhyok in, hoping to please her. The clan head clenched his fists. You really thought... Her aura flashes gold. What am I buying into this? She stands up, accusing Rockdill. You acted out of personal pride, didn't you? Rockdill bows her head low as she states, The honor of the clan is tarnished. The head of the clan looks at Rockdill absent-mindedly. What will you do, Rockdill Bentrick? Juhyuk clenched his fist with a grin. Now, try to reflect that. Meanwhile, Rockdill, drenched in sweat, babbles, Yeah. He falls to his knees. I will do anything to bring honor back to the clan. The clan head nonchalantly. What are you talking about? Her words hit Rockdill flat on the face. The only way out is to banish you. Rockdill's father is shocked. Mistress exile? That's too cruel. She translates the icy stare. Then maybe you should be banished, Ethan Bentrick? Ethan Bentrick freezes, covered in cold sweat. Well... The imperious woman looms over a trembling Rochdale. As much as I would like to kill him or banish him, she continues, looking at the defeated Rockdill, this will only prove that Desera was acting on his orders. The clan head grits his teeth as he ponders the decision. Meanwhile, Juhyok reflects Arin's powerful golden kick. Rockdill trembles on his knees, waiting for the verdict. Yes? Until I cast you out, declares the head. Go back to Valhalla and keep quiet. Her gaze is cold. I will decide your fate after meeting this Kim Juhyok. Rockdill bows low to the floor in relief. Thank you! The chapter turns to Ethan. Keep an eye on your idle son. Your fate depends on his actions as well. Now both of you leave, she commands, and the manor once again falls into the silence of the night. Father and son Bentricka silently retreat down the hallway of the manor. Ethan sternly admonishes Rockdill, Behave yourself this time, don't do anything. Rockdill turns to his father. Didn't you hear what she said? He anxiously continues. Sooner or later I'll be expelled, but as long as the media is watching, she won't do anything. Meanwhile, Arin recoils in horror from a powerful punch blocked by Juhyok. Father and son walk down the hallway. Rockdill grimly, As soon as things calm down, she'll throw me out without a second thought. Rockdill clenched his fist with determination. I have to do something before then. There are no other options. He looks at his father. And you have to help me, father. Ethan replies sternly, Whatever it is, do it quietly. Rockdill agrees. A few days later, Valhalla Academy appears before us. The door to the meeting room, someone starts the conversation. So, the man informs Juhyok, the head of the Bentrick clan will be visiting Valhalla soon. She wants to apologize to you. Juhyok coldly states, I have no business with the clan head. The interlocutor explains, she feels it is her duty to apologize and is going to Korea. Juhyok frowns. Thinks because they punished Rockdill they have nothing to hide? Flashback to the past. Juhyok throws Arin to the ground with a powerful punch. Juhyok wrinkles his nose in annoyance. Damn, I don't want to do this at all. The man admits, Instructor Lee and I feel uncomfortable too. He continues, a Valhalla student was attacked and Rockdill ordered it. The interlocutor sighs. Even with the recording, they're covering for him, trying to keep things quiet. There's a mountain of money in front of us. The right thing to do would be to expel Rockdill, but the clan made a large donation. The man concludes, since the clans are funding us, the school wants to keep things on the down low. Juhyuk nonchalantly picks at his ear. Okay, I'll talk to the head of the clan. The interlocutor looks at him in surprise. You... He is puzzled, reacting so calmly. Juhyuk. Why? I'm always calm. Juhyuk raises his hand as if remembering something. He sinks into thought. That sword technique from before. A sudden knock at the door. The interlocutor suggests, That must be her. Come in. Juhyuk rises from his seat. Well, I'll be off then. Have a nice conversation. The majestic figure of the head of the Bentrick clan appears in the doorway. The man bows respectfully, the head of Clan Bentrick nodding briefly in response. She thanks the reception, and the man suggests she take her time. Juhyuk sits down as the head of the Bentrick clan enters the meeting room. She introduces herself with a smile. Nice to meet you, Kim Juhyuk. I'm Adelia Bentrick, head of the clan. Juhyuk replies carelessly, Yeah, it's my pleasure too. Adelia Bentrick sits down across from him, maintaining a majestic posture. Juhyuk looks at her with a slight challenge, hands in his pockets. Flashback, defeated by Aaron, Juhyuk thinks of a familiar technique. Adelia begins in an official tone. First of all, Kim Juhyuk, regarding Dizeroy's attack. The head of the Bentrick clan suddenly bows low in apology. Juhyuk waves it off. You said he was kicked out a long time ago. It's okay. Adelia mentions Rockdill. Juhyuk thinks, just once, it doesn't matter anymore. Adelia reminds with a slight smile, You said Rockdill had nothing to do with this. She continues intriguingly. Actually, I have a lot to say about that. Adelia admits, even though the clan made a statement, the media and people don't really believe us. Juho picks at his ear thinking, because it's true, motherfuckers. The clan head offers, I want to give you the opportunity to personally dispel misunderstandings. She looks at Juhyuk. Are you ready to help? Flashback to the past. Juhyuk beats Aaron, he doesn't care anymore. Juhyuk replies briefly, No. Adelia expected that answer. Adelia looks up at him. If you help, we will fully support you until graduation. She promises, and will even recommend you to our clan's guild, ensuring a trouble-free life as a hunter in Korea. Juhyuk grinned. So that's what it came down to, huh? He clarifies, You'll pay me generously to keep quiet and do what you say? Adelia Bentrick looks at him sternly, her patience running out. Juhyuk leans back. It pissed me off that you tried to keep this incident quiet. He declares emphatically, So there's no reason to listen to you. I don't need compensation. Adelia clenched her fists, her face contorted with rage. You piece of trash! A powerful aura envelops her. Who do you think you're talking to? Suddenly there's a list on the screen. Juhyuk Kim is number 1 in the Valhalla rankings. Juhyuk smirks. Oh, showing your true colors now, it was hard to hold back. Adelia blazing with anger. I came here out of respect and you dare to be so insolent. Adelia glares angrily. It cost me nothing to kill a child like you. She continues. I tried to show some decency to give you a chance and you're throwing it away? Juhyuk grins defiantly. Yeah, then try it. Kill me. Adelia looks at him stunned. What? Juhyuk reminds, You've denied the Bentrick clan's connection to the attack on me all this time, spent tons of money on a cover-up, and now you're going to kill me? Adelia gritted her teeth, her face contorted with anger. Anyone with any intelligence would realize that you can't do that. Juhyuk nonchalantly parries. Well, even if you attack now, it's unlikely you'll be able to kill me. Adelia's eyes narrowed, reflecting her seething rage and determination. The screen reappears, one Kim Juhyuk, a reminder of his power. Adelia's hair surges upward, her aura becoming even more powerful and threatening. Adelia, having calmed down, turns to Juhyuk, who throws his head up sharply. The head of the Bentrick clan walks away, tossing a farewell. You'll regret today yet. Juhyuk smirks at her, talks a lot for someone who tucked her tail and ran away. His companion is perplexed. None of my business, but why did you have to provoke her like that? Juhyuk calls out to his companion, Hey Varsha, who responds in surprise. The guy seriously declares, I can't stand bastards who pretend to be kings. His eyes redden ominously. Arrogant types, thinking they own everything. Varchi recoils in bewilderment, and Juhyuk adds, So I don't like you either. Juhyuk gets up. Since there are no more classes today, I'll go early to the training center. He strides determinedly down the hallway, heading for practice. Juhyuk heads to the arena of Valhalla, the site of future battles. He walks toward the arena, checking something on his phone. Suddenly, Juhyuk stops, his gaze fixed on something ahead. He recognizes Aaron Choi standing at the entrance. And in front of her is Jingong Choi, the eldest son of the Truth clan. Jingong looks down at Aaron. Do you really think you have a chance? Aaron listens silently as he devalues her training in Valhalla. Jingon offers her a deal. If you want to keep a modicum of the clan's favor, don't come to the selection test this weekend unless you want to embarrass yourself. Aaron looks determined. Aaron replies firmly, no, causing Jingon to ask in surprise, what? Juhyok flinches. He is suddenly blinded by flashes and surrounded by reporters. Jingon, meanwhile, is not relenting. I give you one last chance and you refuse? Aaron coldly replies, it's you, dummy, who didn't understand anything. Jingon boils with rage. What? Who did you call a chump? Juhyok suddenly interjects, pointing at Jingon. You. Why are you interfering with a man's training? Jingon asks, dumbfounded, who are you? Do you even know who I am? Juhyok scratches the back of his head irritably. Why are so many freaks today boasting about their position? He cuts off, don't hang around the school and don't touch the students. When you're done, get out. Juhyok turns to Aaron. I'm sure Aaron thinks the same, right? The distraught Aaron in her cute chibi uniform nods vigorously, barely holding back tears. Jingon Choi snorts contemptuously and turns away. Reporters are calling Juhyok to their guilds, promising better conditions. Jingon angrily tosses Aaron. I'll see you this weekend. He walks away, leaving Juhyok and Aaron alone. Aaron thanks Juhyok, and the latter offers to go practice. Aaron admits that when Juhyok said he thought the same thing, her thoughts were a little different. Juhyok asks curiously what she was thinking then. Aaron interrupts him abruptly before he can make a joke, causing him to marvel at her audacity. They go to practice. Aaron says she'll be gone this weekend, so they'll have to work up a sweat today. A few days later, we have a scenic view of Jihong town at the foot of the hill. Juhyok's hand reaches for something among the foliage, as if looking for a clue. Juhyok is in the woods with a shovel behind his back, checking his phone. He's clearly looking for something. Pesky guild offers popped up in his mind, which he angrily waved away. Fuck off, all of you! The system inquires, have you come to look for the secret warehouse again? Juhyok confirms, yes. Didn't you take a bunch of relics already? Juhyok admits, but wants to know how many warehouses are still left. He senses that something incredible is hidden in a secret warehouse, something that will change everything. Juhyok is confident. If I find one, I can fix my major flaw from when I was Hyuno Kim. If I had found this 300 years earlier, you wouldn't have killed me, he throws back, stunning his companion. Meanwhile, a crowd of reporters gathers outside the majestic building of the Choi Truth Clan. The reporters are animatedly discussing, today is the Choi Truth Clan's selection test, right? That's why we're all here. Aaron and Jingon stand in front of the head of the Choi Truth Clan, ready for the test. The head of the Jungsuk Choi clan announces, the selection test has begun. Jingon listens to his father, who reminds him, if you pass the test, you'll be the rightful heir. Meanwhile, the forum is discussing Juhyok. Is he a psychopath? After his denial to the guilds. Aaron looks determined as the clan leader continues, and if you fail, you will be banished from the clan. Jungsuk Choi sternly asks both applicants, are you ready? Jingon and Aaron synchronously and firmly answer yes. The clan head nods satisfactorily, accepting their determination. Good. Jungsuk Choi announces the goal of the test, to find the Blue Moon Blade hidden in the mountains. Whoever finds the Blue Moon Blade and brings it to me will be the winner, he concludes, looking at Jingon and Aaron. The head of the Jungsuk Choi clan announces, there are no restrictions on the means of obtaining it. He adds sternly, but murder is strictly forbidden. Begin! Aaron and Jingon scramble out of their seats under the gaze of the clan head. Jingon smirks after Aaron. That's right, run. Speed is not the issue here. Meanwhile, the forum is abuzz with controversy about Juhyok and his harsh remarks. Jingon confidently tells the reporters, sooner or later, the Blue Moon Blade will be found. He smugly continues, and all I'll have to do is bide my time and take it. I'll definitely commandeer the Blue Moon Blade this time. His face contorts into a predatory grin. In parallel, Juhyok walks through the city. Aaron and her companion can be seen in the background. Suddenly, the phone in Juhyok's pocket begins to vibrate, beeping. Juhyok answers the phone. It's Jingon Choi. A menacing voice from the tube growled, what happened to the Blue Moon Blade? Jingon excuses himself. I have to take a qualifying test. I'll have to wait a bit. The interlocutor scratches his chin irritably. That's the second time you've mentioned that. Jingon adds guiltily, I know you've waited long enough as it is. I'm sorry. Meanwhile, on the forum, the debate about the defiant newcomer and his behavior has not subsided. Jingon reminds, "But once I obtain the Blue Moon Blade, your promise." A mysterious voice from the shadows confirms, "The oath is made before the constellation. It will be fulfilled." Jingon is ordered, "Focus on target," and he replies briefly, "Understood." Juhyok, already with a different hairstyle, looks off into the distance with grim determination. This could be my last chance, so... Juhyok decides, it's time to start looking. Aaron is in the forest, down on the ground, looking for traces of the Blue Moon Blade. She feels the residual mana of the blade. The trail leads in this direction. Aaron concentrated, a blue aura enveloping her. 15 more minutes. She looks up, pondering. Is the Blue Moon Blade there? Suddenly, Jingon appears behind Aaron's back, watching her. Meanwhile, the forum is hotly debating Juhyok and his run-in with the guildies. Jingon asks Aaron with a smirk, "Using leftover mana to search? Who taught you?" Aaron resolutely clutches his sword and replies, "Juhyok." Flashback. Aaron is in training. Juhyok is teaching her mana control. Juhyok confirms that Aaron already knows the basics of mana control. He notes that her skill with lightning proves her ability to control mana. Juhyok advises her to practice with less mana. He asks in surprise, hadn't she been taught anything in her own clan? Aaron lowered her head in embarrassment upon hearing his question. Juhyok suggests that she only knows how to borrow the power of the constellation. He scratches the back of his head awkwardly, admitting he's not very good at it himself. Suddenly, the frame shifts to show a stately building labeled Valhalla. Juhyok instructs Aaron to relax and direct the mana to her fingertips. Aaron closes her eyes and a powerful stream of blue aura envelops her body. Juhyok, crossing his arms, instructs, "Now try detecting mana in the air." Aaron concentrates, her blue aura vibrating in search of mana. Suddenly, she feels Juhyok's powerful burning red aura. Aaron's eyes widen with shock, a drop of sweat running down her face. Breathing heavily, Aaron bends down. Juhyok asks, "Discovered it yet?" She nods. "Yes, mana had your form." Juhyok explains, "That's what mana detection is, it requires precise control." He continues, "With practice, you'll be able to find even remnants of mana in the air or on the ground." Flashback to the past. Juhyok is among the newcomers to Valhalla. Juhyok summarizes, "This is also how you'll be able to determine the source of residual mana." Juhyok tells Aaron that she'll have to figure it out on her own from here on out. Aaron replies with a slight smile, "Good." The flashback ends. Aaron stares resolutely ahead into the forest. Jingon approaches Aaron asking, "Who's Juhyok?" "Ah, I know." He sarcastically says, "That rude guy that was with you, he seemed like a chump to me." Jingon scornfully scowls, showing his disdain. Aaron angrily replies, "He's much stronger than a scumbag like you. Why are you here?" Jingon smirks, placing his hand on his sword. "What do you think?" His hand clutched the hilt, the sword enveloped in purple energy. Sudden flashback, Juhyok in uniform yawns at a lecture about Valhalla, thinking, "How boring." Jingon shouts, "I came for this!" and their swords cross with a clang. Jingon is amazed at her strength, sweat dripping down his face. "What?" Aaron resolutely shoves him close, her gaze full of fury. "She's pushing me away?" Jingon struggles to parry the blow, retreating under her pressure. "Ah!" He looks dazedly at Aaron. "What the hell?" Aaron advances confidently, her sword glowing with power. When did she have time to grow so much? Meanwhile, Juhyok, surrounded by a blue aura, touches the ground with his hand. A powerful vortex of blue energy envelops Juhyok standing in the forest. Juhyok frowns. Is that stash gone too? So many of them created. Is there really only the one in Valhalla left? In the forest, a bright column of blue energy bursts out of the ground. Sudden shot, Juhyok in uniform, someone squints in surprise. "Huh?" The hooded Juhyok smiles predatorily. "Got one. Finally found one." His gaze becoming sharp, he determines, "Finding?" He looks toward the dense forest. Over there. Suddenly a blast of energy rattles that way. "What the hell?" It's Aaron, her sword flashing in a fierce attack. Jingon desperately parries, sparks flying from the clash of blades. Aaron's face is full of determination, her lightning power growing by the second. She caves in a blow, Jingon grunts, retreating under her power. Jingon stunned, his sword hand trembling. He hadn't expected such power. Jingon smirks. "Are they teaching you to be a wild boar in school? You're ridiculously strong." Sudden flashback. The uniformed students turn around, one of them looking alarmed. Aaron, shrouded in lightning, stands resolutely, Jingong demanding, "Relinquish the blade of the blue moon." Jingong replies with a contemptuous grin, "You betcha!" He lashes out with purple energy, "I'm not giving it to a cunt like you." Aaron meets him, her sword blazing with blue flames and lightning. Her hand gripping the hilt tightly, the sword emitted a powerful blue aura. Jingong is bearing down on Aaron, their energies, purple and blue, ready to collide. Aaron recalls the advice, "Turn the sword right here." She performs an upward strike. The lightning bolts collide. Jingong grunts in surprise. "And chop upward!" Aaron decides. "We have to strike before he gets his sword back." She soars into the air, bringing the blow down on the disarmed Jingong. Meanwhile, Juhyuk in his uniform ponders, did I stand out too much yesterday? Oh well. Jingong, defeated, struggles to catch air with his mouth. Aaron lands a jab, knocking Jingong back even further with a powerful punch. She exhales in relief, putting her sword back into its scabbard. Aaron looks at him thinking, "Thought I'd hit it just once, and here's a critical hit." She's about to act. "Now, while we have the chance, we need to grab." A sudden voice interrupts her thoughts. "You didn't think you won, did you?" Jingong rises, shrouded in an ominous purple aura. Aaron is shocked. Jingong, shrouded in darkness, reminds Aaron, "I told you before, didn't I?" He smirks gloatingly. "Someone like you, who has only received a blessing, can't even touch someone with a contract like me." Jingong adds condescendingly, "Though you did take me by surprise, I admit it." Meanwhile, Juhyuk spots a glowing map in the room. "Huh?" Aaron feels the dark mana anxiously. "Are you of the villains?" She looks at Jingong, not understanding. "Why?" Jingong repeats with a sneer. "Why?" He explodes. "What do you think?" As Aaron prepares for another attack. Aaron rushes forward, her sword cleaving the air. Jingong fiercely meets her blow, their blades about to collide. Aaron was horrified. "He dodged my sword at that distance?" Jingong with a purple swirl lands a blow, knocking Aaron back. Aaron falls to the ground with a grimace of pain, her clothes stained. Jingong looks mockingly at the struggling Aaron. "I don't think that's a good idea." Meanwhile, Juhyuk sees the message. "Return weapons in memory in Valhalla Constellation Hall." Aaron, overcoming the pain, looks at him defiantly. A dark stain on her clothes spreads, indicating a wound. Jingong cautions her. "I told you not to move, so at least you won't die." Aaron, clasping the wound, asks, "Your contract, is it with an evil constellation?" Jingong confesses, "For the sake of the species, I contracted with a rank A constellation, but now I'm with the Unificationists." Aaron recalls Unificationists. I've heard of them. She asks Jingong, "So you made a contract with their constellation?" "I don't understand." Aaron is perplexed. "Is the benefit of them more than you have now?" Jingong grinned. "Is that even a question? Now listen." He smiles madly. "Overwhelming power and honor, rejection without the need for discretion." Meanwhile, Juhyuk decides, "I just need to get my stuff and leave. Who cares what they think?" Aaron, clasping the wound, flinched. "Deviation?" Jingong approached. "Do you know how old I joined the Written Truth Guild? I was only 12. He continues, looking down at her. "From a young age, I felt like I was losing myself playing the role of a guild icon." Jingong recalls, "At a time when I was suppressing my desires as a teenager, I met someone from the Unificationists." Jingong recalls, "He suggested that I join the Unificationists and let my desires come true." Aaron, shocked, asks, What were you like?" Jingong smirks evilly. "My desire is to destroy people at my pleasure." He continues, "But there was a condition to offer our clan's artifact, the Blue Moon Blade." Jingong scoffed. "If you had surrendered earlier, I would have gotten the blade without that second qualifying test." Aaron is puzzled. "The second one?" Jingong asks. "What, don't you remember?" Meanwhile, Juhyuk in his suit looks off into the distance. And that concludes the ceremony. Jingong reveals, 10 years ago, your sister Ajin Choi and I went through the selection process." Aaron whispers, "But she's missing." Jingong confirms, "During that very selection." He rocks madly. "I couldn't control my urges." Jingong confesses, "No sooner had we found the Blue Moon Blade than I mutilated her beyond recognition." Aaron shudders. He continues, scratching the back of his head. "But I never found the blade. I was badly hurt myself, and the test failed." Jingong recounts. "Father handled everything, secretly hospitalized Ajin, and we started a rumor that she was missing. Aaron shivers. Aaron asks wearily, Where is she now? Jingon cautions. I wouldn't look if I were you. He reveals the truth by showing the image of Aaron's mother, the reason your mother went blind. Flashback. Little Aaron is crying by her mother's hospital bed. Jingon continues. She saw your sister's condition. Aaron, sitting on the ground, looks up at him in horror, realizing the brutal truth. Meanwhile, a sign appears. Virtual combat training room. Jingon, looking at Aaron, utters, Well, now that I know where the blue moon blade is, I guess. He angrily swings his sword. I will send you to your sister. Aaron closes her eyes, waiting for the blow, Jingon's sword already above her. Jingon stares in shock at the unexpected obstacle, his attack interrupted. Juhyuk appears out of nowhere, blocking Jingon's killing blow with his blade. Juhyuk, with blazing red eyes, asks furiously, What the hell are you doing? Jingon snaps back, This is a family matter. Mind your own business. Juhyuk, looking at Jingon, asks disdainfully, What, brother? He continues, trying to slit his own sister's throat while throwing away Jingon's sword. Jingon flies back from Juhyuk's powerful punch, struggling to stay on his feet. Meanwhile, Instructor Yegan Kim of Valhalla lamented, Why am I stuck with this class? Aaron looks at her savior with wonder and hope, whispering, Ju. Aaron looks hopefully at Juhyuk, who stands over her with a shovel and a sword. She, still on the ground, asks him, What are you doing here? Juhyuk, with red eyes, replies, I came to dig up my treasure chest, it's just in this neighborhood. Close up, dark blood flows profusely from Aaron's wound. Juhyuk's gaze becomes even more determined, his red eye blazing. He orders Aaron, Stay here and gather mana to stop the bleeding. I just had a case nearby. Aaron, lowering her gaze, replies with a slight smile, Okay. Jingon approaches, recognizing Juhyuk. I kept wondering who you were. You're that rough student from Valhalla, aren't you? Jingon insists again. I told you, it's a family matter, Juhyuk defends Aaron. Sudden shot. Aaron and Soyoung Yu of the Dawn Yu clan are in their school uniforms, serious and ready. Jingon lunges at Juhyuk in a rage, shouting, Mind your own business! Jingon's sword flashes with sinister purple energy, ready to strike. The red-eyed Juhyuk deftly dodges Jingon's lightning-fast attack. Jingon is stunned. His lunge failed to reach its target. He can't believe his eyes. Juhyuk stares calmly at his opponent. Jingon can't believe such a dodge. Juhyuk clutches the hilt of his weapon, preparing to counterattack. When you go to chop! He rains down on Jingon from above. Don't aim for the one standing. Hit the one who's coming at you, dummy. Jingon's face contorted in pain, blood spurting from his mouth after the powerful blow. Juhyuk pins the defeated Jingon to the ground with his weapon. Jingon realizes in horror, he threw me off, and then immediately rushed off in pursuit. Jingon recalls, and the big guy in the middle, that's Sehyuk O of the O clan. Juhyuk hits Jingon with force with his weapon right in the stomach. From the impact, Jingon flies into the air, surrounded by purple energy. Jingon is defeated, lying on the ground with his eyes rolled back. Juhyuk raises his weapon, his red eyes burning with determination. He turns to Aaron, asking, Are you all right? She replies, Yeah. Juhyuk removes his hood and wonders, Can you walk? Aaron hesitantly agrees to try. Juhyuk's gaze becomes intense, his red eyes flashing brighter. The defeated Jingon is enveloped in an ominous dark purple aura. Juhyuk grimly states dark mana. Is this guy a villain too? Jingon, shrouded in darkness, takes a step forward, the ground cracking beneath him. Meanwhile, Instructor Kim panicked. They said the assignments were random, but how did 3 of the 5 clans end up here? Jingon rises, his eyes burning purple. You bastard! He looks at Juhyuk with disdain. You're just a first year from Valhalla. Jingon soared into the attack, shouting, You think you can defeat a raid guild leader? Juhyuk calmly meets the blow, his weapon colliding with Jingon's sword, sparks flying. Jingon was furious. I put mana into the punch, but he didn't even flinch. Juhyuk parries with a slight chuckle. Raid leader? Juhyuk delivers a crushing blow to Jingon right in the stomach. The latter cries out in pain. Jingon drops to a knee, struggling to catch his breath after a powerful counterattack. Jingon can't believe it. How can a 17-year-old be so good? He blocks everything and manages to beat me. Jingon's gaze hardened. I have no choice, I'll have to use this. Jingon anxiously thinks, and what's worse? He reaches for something, muttering, The recoil will be strong. But it's not about looks right now. Jingong pulls out a glowing purple crystal. Artificial divine artifact. He states, "With that, I can make an artificial contract with the constellation." Jingong crunches the crystal with a crunch, Juhyuk watching silently. Jingong laughs madly, a purple aura enveloping him. Shrouded in darkness, Jingong spreads his arms, laughing. Juhyuk looks up at him. Meanwhile, at the entrance to the selection site, people feel tremors. What? An earthquake? At the screening entrance, a woman in glasses points to something in a panic, her supervisor puzzled. The crowd looks on in horror as a giant pillar of dark purple energy surges into the sky. Instructor Kim is shocked to recognize the ominous phenomenon. Juhyuk with red eyes looks questioningly at the transformed Jingong. Instructor Kim confirms, "Dark mana, so dense that even ordinary people can see it." He adds anxiously, "What's more, this place is next to the Blue Moon Blade." Instructor Kim makes up his mind. "You can't interfere, but it's dangerous. I have to check it out." Jingong, shrouded in tentacles of dark energy, confronts Juhyuk and Aaron. Juhyuk asks with slight irritation, "I've been waiting for you to do. That's it? Just raised your mana?" Jingong smirks gloatingly. "Cheeky bastard. That's just an added effect." Jingong brags, "This is the power of the constellation contract. Now you're going to die." A huge purple dragon appears behind him, recognizing the artifact. The dragon is pleased by the apparition, his eye flashes, activating the all-seeing eye. Juhyuk stands nonchalantly, his red eyes blazing against his scarlet aura. Jingong is desperate. Why is Juhyuk Kim here? This year is gone. The summoned dragon's eye twitched nervously, sweat dripping down its muzzle. The dragon, no longer purple but gray, looks at the calm Juhyuk. Suddenly, the dragon deactivates the all-seeing eye. A boot appears over Juhyuk. But immediately, the dragon activates the eye again, Juhyuk's red aura flaring up. The dragon's muzzle contorts in horror. He clearly didn't expect this. Jingong is horrified, the system window reporting, "All-killing dragon orders me to get out." Jingong's face contorted with despair, a new message. "Dragon rejects artifact and breaks contract." Jingong is stunned. The dark aura around him disappears. The system announces, "Dragon withdraws power and leaves." Juhyuk and Aaron watch as the last remnants of Jingong's purple energy dissipate. Jingong is at a complete loss, sweat dripping down his face. He mutters, "So," trying to keep his composure, Jingong coughs, "No, calm down. In a situation like this, you have to go all the way." Jingong gripped the hilt of his sword tighter, his hand visibly trembling. Juhyuk looks at Jingong with a cold grin, asking, "Who did you say is going to die?" Juhyuk lunges forward with lightning speed, his hand rushing towards his opponent. Juhyuk's crushing blow throws Jingong back, knocking the sword out of his hands. Jingong yelped in pain, his face contorted with misery. Juhyuk turns away, leaving a defeated Jingong on the ground next to his sword. Meanwhile, Hannibal, the leader of the Dragon Unity, looks extremely worried. "The all-killing dragon is furious. I almost got in big trouble because of you." The angry voice continues, "Do you want to lose your position?" Hannibal, clearly frightened, babbles, Brief flashback. Instructor Kim introduces herself to the class, where Juhyuk and Aaron are present. Hannibal smashes his forehead against the floor with force, screaming, "I beg your pardon!" The all-killing dragon sternly warns, "Never give out artificial divine artifacts again." Hannibal, trembling his whole body in a deep bow, replies, "Yes, sir." The all-killing dragon lastly advises Hannibal to behave wisely. Hannibal is still prostrate on the floor, the flash illuminating his humiliated pose. Rising slowly, Hannibal is perplexed. What was that? What made the Lord of the Constellation so angry? He frowns, guessing. Judging from the mention of the artifact, that brat from the Choi clan messed up everything. Hannibal turns around, his face still expressing intense worry. Staring into the void, he mutters, "But what do you mean almost got into big trouble? Is the Overlord afraid of something?" Wrapped in determination and a purple aura, Hannibal declares, "We need to find out what happened." Someone's hand presses a button, intending to do something about it. First things first, the camera shows the Valhalla dormitory at night, where the windows are lit up. Juhyuk, wearing a hoodie and carrying a backpack, walks into his room with the door creaking open. Juhyuk tiredly throws off the strap of his backpack, returning to his room. He's impatiently rummaging through his backpack, obviously looking for something. With a predatory grin and burning eyes, he announces, "I finally have it!" Juhyuk pulls out an ancient book labeled Divine Acts. Sitting on the bed, he explains to his companion, This is what I've been searching my hiding places for. This book contains a special breathing technique for mana harvesting that increases efficiency. His companion in the blue suit remarks, "The tech you used before you were reborn was garbage." Ju-hyuk recalls finding divine axe 300 years ago, but his body had already gotten used to the old technique. Suddenly, everything around starts to shake. Students shout in panic, "What's going on?" Ju-hyuk grimly recalls, "In the battle with Varche, I almost died due to lack of mana from that bad technique." Ju-hyuk smirks gloatingly, because with a new body, he's going to start fresh. He decides to put off physical training and focus on practicing divine acts. The companion wonders if the skirmish ended well, as Eren was left with Jingon exuding dark mana. Ju-hyuk replies that he left when he heard someone's footsteps, and is sure that Eren has been taken care of. Flashback, Ju-hyuk walks away, leaving a defeated Jingon lying on the ground. Jingon is unconscious, surrounded by the remnants of an ominous purple aura. In the same flashback, Ju-hyuk stands with Jingon's sword in his hand. The companion asks if he killed Jingon, but Ju-hyuk denies it. He still has business to attend to at Valhalla. Ju-hyuk notices the faint remnants of mana in Jingon, confirming that he is still alive. Suddenly, a gathering of students is shown, and the ground is shaken by a powerful rumble. In the flashback, Ju-hyuk asks Eren if she's okay while Jingon is unconscious. Ju-hyuk notices someone approaching. Jingon is still slumped on the ground. He assumes they are people from the Eren clan attracted by dark mana. Eren, holding her stomach, rises and responds to his words. Ju-hyuk advises Eren to stay put while he goes about his business. He instructs her to say that she is the one who defeated the Jingon. Ju-hyuk pulls her hood up, explaining that she had already weakened the enemy and he had only finished him off. Eren gives him a look as her fellow clansmen rush over to her, wishing to see him at school. Back in the present, Ju-hyuk is in his room and collapses on his bed. With the book in hand, he decides that he will take the rest of the storage stones after mastering the technique. Ju-hyuk looks around puzzled. What? Where are we? Because they had just been indoors. Meanwhile, a voice booms over the Valhalla Night dormitory. "I think that's enough for tonight." The camera moves to the majestic building of the Choi Truth clan under the full moon. Inside, a tense meeting is taking place, with the head of the Choi clan sitting at the head of the table. The clan head grimly reports, "Thanks to the press covering the selection, the articles are already all over the net." He casts a glance around the audience. "Has everyone familiarized themselves with them?" One of the women nods. On her tablet, the headline screams, "Choi clan's eldest son is linked to the world's worst faction." Another clan member frowns as he studies the article with a question. Is Choi's Truth clan involved in atrocities? The clan head covers his face in annoyance. "What a shame, the villain of the Choi Truth clan." He continues, "Worse, the association sent an official letter. We'll have to make a statement." The clan head recalls how the Bentrick clan abroad faced a similar situation. Meanwhile, Hannibal, standing back, reaches for his sword. A clan member in dark glasses reports, "Jingon has been turned over to the police. Eren is in our hospital." The head of the clan asks worriedly about her condition. He is told that no surgery is needed. Hearing this, the clan head leans back in his chair in relief. Another counselor reports that articles have appeared about Ms. Eren as well. The headline on the tablet reads, "Genius student defeats villain," praising her and Ju-hyuk. The clan head grimly notes that the press is simultaneously berating the clan and exalting Eren. A young clan member wondered, "Isn't that a good thing? She has established herself as an heiress." The clan head, frowning, admits, "That's right, it will strengthen her position." The clan head recognizes Eren's chance, but doubts her victory over Jingon. In the flashback, his men tensely survey the scene of the battle. One of them cautions. The hand of one of them clutches his weapon tightly, ready for any eventuality. Eren sits on the ground next to the defeated Jingon, greeting the arriving fellow clansmen. She calmly explains that Jingon attacked with dark mana, and she overpowered him. The co-clanmate is surprised. "But his mana could be felt even from afar. How did you manage?" A weakened Eren is lifted up by two men in strict suits, leading her away from the scene of the battle. Turning around, she states firmly, "I did what Ju-hyuk taught me." Back in the present, the clan leader looks thoughtfully at the tablet. On the screen is a picture of Ju-hyuk showing an obscene gesture to guild recruiters. A sunny day illuminates the majestic hulks of Valhalla Academy. Ju-hyuk, in his school uniform, enters the classroom carrying a backpack. His gaze stops abruptly on someone, eyes widening in surprise. Suddenly, a horde of furious monsters with burning eyes flashes before my eyes. A girl with long snow-white hair sits at the desk. That's Eren. Ju-hyuk is surprised. "I thought she was in the hospital and she's at school?" Eren slowly turns her head in his direction. She smiles sweetly and waves at him affably. Ju-hyuk is dumbfounded. Aaron Choi smiled and waved at me. Meanwhile, in his room, Ju-hyuk sits at his desk, studying a book and concentrating his mana. Ju-hyuk is studying the book intently, his hand glowing with mana and the phone on the table vibrating. He picks up the phone. Aaron writes that the doctor has forbidden her to train because of her injuries. Ju-hyuk replies that he was going to miss a couple days himself, and advises her to practice when she can. Aaron floods him with stickers of a nodding bunny, Ju-hyuk irritably asking her to stop. Suddenly a vision flashes, a horde of fanged monsters with burning red eyes rushing forward. His mentor from the tower appears next to Ju-hyuk. By the way, there's something you need to know. Mentor explains that Jingon's dark mana seems strangely familiar to him. Ju-hyuk asks if he remembers where she's from, but the mentor answers in the negative. Mentor adds thoughtfully, "It's not that I don't remember. Someone has deliberately tampered with my memory." Ju-hyuk frowns. "You think it's the bastard who made you Tower Master?" The mentor agrees that it's likely. Mentor suggests, "By fulfilling the second condition, you might be able to unlock those foggy memories." Ju-hyuk frowns, remembering, the second condition, the Eye of the Great Forest. He leans back in his chair. "I thought this was for grading, but it turned out to be for the final exam." Ju-hyuk ruffles his hair irritably. "So what, just sit and wait? What a waste of time." In class, Ju-hyuk decides, "While there's time, I'll look for the Eye of the Great Forest in secret." Suddenly a vision flashes. The students, including Aaron, are surrounded by snarling monsters in the forest. The teacher enters the classroom holding a folder. "Okay, everyone take your places." Standing in front of the class, the teacher continues. "Before we begin, I have a short announcement." Teacher asks, "Does everyone know about the school competition next month?" The students answer yes. Ju-hyuk sits indifferently, and his little mentor comments, "Yeah, he talked about it after the midterms." The teacher announces, "We are also preparing to elect our representatives." He continues, "Ju-hyuk Kim first, follow me to the meeting room." Ju-hyuk is surprised. In the meeting room, the teacher remarks, "You know, we see a lot of each other in this room." The teacher embarrassingly admits Ju-hyuk's right and gets to the point. "Anyway, about the competition." Ju-hyuk immediately cuts off, "I won't participate." The teacher flinches in surprise. Ju-hyuk is perplexed. What kind of school competition is this anyway? The teacher sighs. The teacher begins to explain, "Imagine orcs, goblins. There are at least 100 of them out there." He lists 3 of the best educational institutions for hunters in the world, Valhalla in Korea. A White Lotus in China. A majestic Chinese building appears on the screen. And Heroes in the USA, the image changes to a futuristic skyscraper. The teacher explains, "Representatives from the 3 academies compete in tasks, mainly combat and maze exploration." He continues, "Naturally, we prefer to select students with high practical scores." Ju-hyuk yawns defiantly, and the teacher asks doubtfully, "Aren't you interested?" The teacher tries to entice with scholarships, but Ju-hyuk picks his ear. Yeah, money and all that." "But I'm not interested," Ju-hyuk cuts off, and the teacher gives up. Okay." Suddenly, Ju-hyuk's eyes flash red when the teacher mentions the Eye of the Great Forest. "The Eye of the Great Forest?" Ju-hyuk interjects, and the teacher confirms, "Yes, the location of the final exam." An eerie image of a fanged monster with burning eyes roaring with rage flashes by. The teacher clarifies, "Since our school is hosting the competition, the final task is to enter the Eye of the Great Forest. If you fail, you'll have to retake it," the teacher adds, to which Ju-hyuk agrees irritably. Ju-hyuk declares with a predatory smile and burning eyes, "I'll do it. School competition." Meanwhile, in the United Kingdom, the headquarters of the Bentrick clan looms. Adelia Bentrick, the vice head of the clan, asks sternly, "How are the preparations going?" The 2 subordinates bow. "Ma'am, we are moving slowly but surely." Adelia nods. "Very well, go ahead," recognizing that it would take another month to complete. She wondered, "And what did that Rock deal?" "Nothing much, just laying low." "Report any suspicious activity immediately," Adelia orders. The subordinate adds, "Ma'am, there's some interesting, though unrelated to us, news." Suddenly a vision flashes. 3 angry goblins with burning eyes attack. "They say they're erecting a building out of paper money in the market," the subordinate reports amid a disturbing image. Adelia is perplexed. A building made of paper money? The subordinate confirms that this is Black Cat's order. She frowns. What's he up to? He hasn't drawn this much attention to himself before. Adelia's gaze flashes, a light notice appearing in front of her. The message reads, Cluvast Mask calls for more information. Adelia is shocked, a drop of sweat dripping off her face. Mr. Constellation? Meanwhile, in the 7th Market District, an under-construction building rises under the full moon. Construction cranes are actively working to erect the skyscraper in the night. Inside the building stands a man wearing a black cat mask and a strict suit. He looks out over the night city, replying to the unseen interlocutor, Of course I do as you told me to. Suddenly, the monster's clawed paw strikes the magic barrier with force, behind which the terrified man can be seen. Black Cat asks the unseen interlocutor, May I ask why you ordered a building made of paper money? An ominous figure with red eyes announces, It's a gift for him. Against the backdrop of a construction site with flying bills, Cat repeats his question about building out of money. A system message appears. The governor of the other world is talking. This is a gift. Black Cat, looking at the notice with a drop of sweat on his mask, asks, A gift? For whom? A close-up of Cat's mask, he tensely thinks, Is this really new message from the ruler of the other world? Did you find the one who sold the ring? Black Cat replies to Constellation, Not yet. There is only a description of appearance and voice from the merchant. He adds, But we are compiling a list of suspects from the phone data of market-goers. The message from Constellation flashes furiously, Fast! And Cat promises in a panic, I'll get right on it. Suddenly, Juhyok sees the goblins violently beating against the magical barrier. Meanwhile, in Valhalla's teacher's lounge, work is boiling. The teacher, sitting at his computer, frowns thoughtfully, feeling a headache coming on. Chief Martial Instructor Sangcho Lee inquired, Have all the competitors in the competition been selected? Can I see the list? Asks the instructor, and the teacher nervously turns the laptop around. The list of participants from Valhalla is on the screen, and Juhyuk Kim is the first one on it. The instructor is surprised. Juhyuk Kim also agreed? Unexpected. The teacher explains, he abruptly changed his mind when he learned that the finals would be held in the eye of the great forest. Strange, the instructor remarks, sipping his coffee. Most people would be deterred by that. The instructor suggests, maybe he just doesn't know what the eye of the great forest is? Instructor Lee pondered. He clearly has his own agenda related to this place. The teacher agrees with an understanding smile. Okay, Instructor Lee offers, Do you mind if I take over their training? Certainly, sir. Then take care of it, the instructor says as he leaves the teacher's lounge. A few days later, the 5 selected students gathered in Valhalla's auditorium. Instructor Sangchul Lee resolutely enters the hall. He looks around at the students. Is everyone in place? 5, as expected. It's nice to meet you, though we've seen each other before. I'm Combat Instructor Sangchul Lee. The instructor announces, I have gathered you to explain the competition tasks and the training plan. He raises 3 fingers. There are a total of 3 tasks for you to complete. Instructor Lee announces, The first assignment is an individual competition, similar to a ranking battle. The second is a team battle, he continues. 5 competitors from each school form a team. A sudden vision, goblins furiously attacking the barrier, with Juhyuk and another student behind them. The instructor explains, This will not be a duel, but a 3-team scramble, so the leader's decisions are critical. The third task is the Eye of the Great Forest, Lee announces, and Juhyuk listens intently. I will provide details on the day of the event, says the instructor, but know this, the Eye of the Great Forest is a labyrinth. An image of a dense forest with a massive gate appears before them. The foliage there is thicker than usual, and access is controlled. The instructor concludes, A team from each school will enter the Eye of the Great Forest. Details are in place, and the students respond, Yes, sir. We'll skip the individual competition. Nothing special there, Lee decides, looking at his notes. Juhyuk frowns, thinking, That's the whole explanation about the Eye of the Great Forest? Juhyuk ponders, The labyrinth. It's hardly as simple as it looks. Instructor Lee announces, That's all on team battle, now on to training, but first... Any questions? And Juhyuk immediately pulls his hand out, drawing attention. The instructor calls out, Juhyuk Kim, come here, with goblins flashing in the background. Juhyuk bluntly asks the instructor, Can I train alone? Lee nonchalantly replies, If it gives a better result, please do. Following Ju-hyuk, Aaron also raises her hand. I will also train separately. The instructor is surprised. And Aaron? Well, all right, anyone else interested? Glancing around at the students, Lee states, looks like no one else. That's it for today then, the instructor concludes. I'll see you at the next training session. The students disperse, Ju-hyuk and Aaron remain seated, immersed in their thoughts. Ju-hyuk thinks with determination, by the time I compete, I must master divine acts. And in my spare time, I'll focus on physical training. His musings are interrupted by a voice. Aaron suddenly asks Ju-hyuk, should I continue practicing as usual? The image of Ju-hyuk in front of the instructor flashes for a moment, with the monster's shadow in the background. Aaron, pressing her hand to her chest, agrees. You're right. Besides, I shouldn't overexert myself. She looks at him doubtfully. But in the office, the teacher turns to Aaron. I know you're not in the best shape, but I wanted to ask you personally. The teacher explicitly asks the question, are you going to compete? Hearing the answer, the teacher is surprised. Ju-hyuk Kim too? Did he say he would? Aaron confirms to the teacher, then yes, despite his doubts about her abilities. She replies resolutely, I can handle it, and the teacher nods demurely. Good. In the present, Aaron shares with Ju-hyuk, I'm close to my goal of becoming the head of the clan, but she looks at him with appreciation. Thanks to you, I have a new purpose. Aaron declares to become stronger with you, which surprises Ju-hyuk. Flash vision, Ju-hyuk in front of the monsters, his question, can you handle them alone? Aaron adds with a warm smile, and to help you achieve what you want as you helped me. Ju-hyuk, embarrassed by her smile, notes practically, but you can't do intense workouts yet, right? He stands up, offering advice, mana control, light warm-up with the sword, no fanaticism. Ju-hyuk leaves, promising to help later. See you later, Aaron replies quietly. Okay. The moonlit night illuminates the ominous building. A desperate cry for mercy breaks the silence of the night. A bound prisoner on his knees offers anything to survive. The ruthless executioner raises a shiny knife with an icy grin. A piercing shriek, the blade plunges into the victim's flesh. The body goes limp, leaving only the knife sticking out of his back. Meanwhile, Ju-hyuk talks about the monsters that are on their way. Lisa and Al, a pair of assassins, argue Al thinks quick carnage is boring. Lisa shudders in surprise. What, a new order already? Al wondered, new target? Lisa, looking at her phone, confirms, yes. On the screen of Lisa's phone is a photo of Ju-hyuk Kim, a student at Valhalla, their new target. The previous victim hangs lifelessly from the chair, his back drenched in blood. The killer pulls the bloody knife out of the body with cold blood. Al is perplexed as to why they, the three killers, have been assigned a student. Lisa assumes a generous payment. Lisa, with a D1 tattoo on her cheek, informs Al, we need to kill him at the school competition next month. Al offers to straighten out the target early, but Lisa reminds him of the school's heavy security. Al worries about the risks at the competition due to the presence of other schools, but Lisa has information from Alya. Suddenly, a pensive Ju-hyuk flashes by, as if sensing danger. Lisa reveals the plan. The third day of the competition will take place in the eye of the Great Forest. It's a maze. The killers discuss the details. The students will simply be abandoned in the woods and will have to get out on their own, without instructors. Lisa elaborates, apart from the drones and security at the entrance, there's no one inside. The instructors watch from afar. Al, naked to the waist, croaks, following Alya and hiding? Boring. Walking off into the darkness, Lisa reminds, the key is to successfully eliminate the target. Al nods, I know. A month later, the huge stadium shines with lights. It's the day of the school competition. The stands are roaring. Students in uniform are fiercely supporting their own. Confetti is flying everywhere. Rockdale Bentrick stands out among the fans, his face tense and his hands clasped together. In a luxurious room, Rockdale speaks into the phone. Father, it's me, the girl standing behind him. Ethan Bentrick, Rockdale's father, confirms over the phone, I got the money. Good. The villain grins with a smirk of anticipation. Yeah, that'll put you in your place, knowing the student's fear of monsters. When asked by his father about money, Rockdale replies with determination, I hired someone. Rockdale's father is stunned. You hired the One Believers to kill Ju-hyuk Kim? Rockdale coldly replies, Father, I told you there is no turning back. Ethan Bentrick is horrified, but this time, they've been assigned the three killers. He recalls, the trio of assassins are an elite squad. Their abilities are ideal for elimination. Rockdill agrees with his father. Okay, I'll try not to attract attention. At the stadium, Rockdill thinks, the faithful will eliminate Juhyok during the competition. His gaze becomes hard. Then I have no need to sit here and watch. Rockdill rises. Come, Yuria. The girl follows obediently. Meanwhile, in the arena, the announcer welcomes students and guests to the competition. A certain guy mutters with a smirk, I'll start class as soon as it's down a bit. At the podium, the president of Valhalla, Dokun Shim, begins his speech. He announces, before we begin, let me introduce the students from each school. The first to come out are the representatives of China, White Lotus, greeted by applause. The Heroes of America steps into the arena next, causing the stands to erupt in cheers. The president pauses, preparing to introduce the last command. Finally, to the roar of the crowd, the Valhalla students from Korea appear, led by Juhyok. Shim announces that the competition will last 3 days, and today is the individual fights. The president asks the representatives to return to the waiting rooms for match distribution. Meanwhile, the same guy grinningly watches the departing students from above. His face is serious, silently contemplating something while looking at the arena. The mysterious watcher smirks, anticipating the events to come. Suddenly, someone calls out to the man with a piercing stare. Hey, Sanchol! It's Robert Jack, senior instructor of heroes, waving hello to an old acquaintance. Robert prods Sanchol. Hey, Bronze. The latter parries by recalling last year's results. Sanchol discreetly agrees. It's true, Valhalla didn't take the gold. But Robert confidently states, however, this time it will be different. He brags, our boys are going to come out on top this year. Sanchol is skeptical. What makes you so confident? Robert hints at Trump. The pinnacle of contract workers. Do you know who that is now? Sanchol replies, I know. Sanchol utters grimly, his name is Destroyer. Logan. A dark silhouette appears behind him. Robert clarifies with a chuckle. Logan's son is a first-timer on Heroes. Sanchol is surprised. His son? Robert points out, yeah, he's one of our representatives this year over there. Sanchol is grimly interested in Robert's smirk. What's so funny? Robert introduces, Logan's son, Logan Jr., a confident young man stands before us. Robert anticipates, well, that's worth watching. Sanchol adds, and this guy already has a contract with his father's constellation. Sanchol is surprised. A contract with a destroyer that pierces everything? Robert asks if Logan Jr. uses destruction. Sanchol replies, not as good as his father, but to some extent, yes. Robert admits, I hear Valhalla first-timers are no joke this year, especially that Juhyok Kim. He continues, they say he defeated one of the villains, Sanchol confirms. Yeah, and something similar happened to Aaron Choi afterward. Robert smirks. In that case, there'll be a good match for Logan Jr. since he's already beating adult contractors. Robert remarks, you don't seem particularly excited. Sanchol looks thoughtfully around the arena. Sanchol is surprised. The first round grid appears on the hologram. He says enigmatically, you'll understand why I'm so calm. Sanchol turns to Juhyok. I see you're laughing, so can you handle them by yourself? Juhyok says confidently, of course. When you watch this match, Sanchol adds, and on the screen, Juhyok Kim versus Logan Jr. Juhyok and Logan Jr. are already facing each other in the arena, ready to fight. The host announces the simple rules. Whoever knocks out his opponent first wins. The arena system mitigates weapon damage but simulates pain, allowing for knockouts. The president specifies, the defense system will remain in effect until the next team battle. The battle will begin at the end of the countdown. Countdown. 3. Juhyok ponders the defense system, assuming it's needed to conserve strength for the third day. 2. Logan Jr. stares intently at Juhyok as he prepares to fight. 1. Juhyok carelessly fixes his hair. Logan Jr. tenses. Begin! Juhyok instantly rushes forward with a shining fist. His gaze is full of determination, red eyes flashing in the heat of battle. Sanchol observes with annoyance. That lad, still showing off. Well, try it. Logan Jr. clenches his fists, preparing to strike. You think... He looks down at Juhyok. Are you strong? Juhyok easily stops Logan Jr.'s fist with one hand. Juhyok calmly replies, no, I think I have a long way to go yet. Logan Jr. is surprised. Really? You're more humble than I thought, clenching his other fist. Juhyok blocks the next punch, Forget modesty, it's just a fact, I'm still practicing. Logan Jr. wondered with a chuckle. By the way, how much longer are you going to hold my fist? Ju-hyuk yanks him sharply toward him. Logan Jr. exclaims in surprise, "Ah!" With a blazing stare, Ju-hyuk swings in for a crushing blow. A powerful hook from Ju-hyuk crashes straight into Logan Jr.'s jaw with force. Ju-hyuk stands quietly, demanding a reward for this unexpected test on the first day. Logan Jr. takes a knee and admits, "Ugh, hard hit." Ju-hyuk smirks, "Yeah, you're tougher than I thought. I was counting on a one-punch knockout." From above, Sanchul and Robert watch Logan Jr. try to get up after the attack. Sanchul notes Logan Jr.'s strength since he withstood Ju-hyuk's punch. Robert looks shocked. Robert recalls the Ju-hyuk video and acknowledges that their students have studied it too. Robert staggered, "But he wasn't this strong before." The floor beneath Ju-hyuk cracked. Sanchul is watching the fight closely. "No, this isn't over yet." He continues, "Logan hasn't used destruction yet." And Logan Jr. rises, surrounded by a golden aura. Logan Jr.'s hand flashes with yellow energy, preparing to attack. Ju-hyuk barely dodges the blow. Whoops, the golden energy whizzes past. Ju-hyuk said with interest, "So you want the reward, huh? Now the conversation is flowing." Destruction energy concentrated in Logan Jr.'s hand with a hiss. Ju-hyuk's red eye sparkles with determination before another attack. Ju-hyuk strikes back with blue energy right in Logan Jr.'s chest. The latter cries out, "What was that?" Ju-hyuk notices a cut strand of hair. "He cut my hair. Judging by the mess, it's not cutting power, but something destructive?" Logan Jr. staggered back, thinking, 2 strikes and I'm almost out. He realizes, even with destruction, I can't get it. A drop of sweat drips down Logan Jr.'s face as he whispers, "Wait." Logan Jr. shouts, "There's still a way," slapping his hands on the ground, causing a golden glow. His fingers, embraced with energy, cracked through the arena floor with a snap. The ground beneath Logan Jr. splits open. Ju-hyuk calmly observes. Ju-hyuk asks with a smirk, "If I defeat all these monsters, what do I get?" Ju-hyuk nonchalantly inquired, "And what does it do if you break the floor?" Logan Jr. slowly lifts his foot, the ground beneath him shining and crumbling. With a powerful leg kick, Logan Jr. launches the debris of the floor straight at Ju-hyuk. Logan Jr. prepares a plan. If he dodges an apparent attack, then I attack from his blind spot. He goes behind Ju-hyuk's back. But Ju-hyuk's piercing red eye had already caught everything. Logan Jr. is confused. "What? He spotted me?" "Too late!" He rushes forward, his fist glowing with energy. Suddenly, a slab chip hits Logan Jr. right in the face. "Ouch!" Ju-hyuk looks at the enemy covering his face. "Even if hiding behind rubble." Sanchul recalls his promise to Ju-hyuk. "If you defeat all the monsters, you will get 1 reward from me as a teacher." Ju-hyuk explains with a chuckle. "When you attack with mana, you're easy to track." Immediately, Ju-hyuk unleashes a powerful blast of blue aura on Logan. Logan Jr. flies back from Ju-hyuk's crushing blow, his body pierced by blue energy. Ju-hyuk points to the defeated Logan, announcing, "I think the winner of this match has been decided. Kim Ju-hyuk of Valhalla Academy wins." Robert is shocked, and Sanchul calmly remarks, "That's why I wasn't particularly excited." Ju-hyuk walks nonchalantly across the cracked arena, while the commentator whispers, "This guy is a monster." Next up, Ju-hyuk versus Yuanfeng Li of White Lotus, and Ju-hyuk wins again. Ju-hyuk then meets Avel from Heroes, and once again, Kim Ju-hyuk has the upper hand. It's time for the final match of the individual competition, Ju-hyuk Kim versus Aaron Choi. Aaron calmly states, "Since you and I are in the finals, Valhalla Academy's victory is already guaranteed." Ju-hyuk smirks enigmatically, mulling over her words. He scratches the back of his head as Aaron continues. At this point, this final has no meaning other than confirming the ratings. Aaron mentions the scholarship for the champion, suggesting Ju-hyuk give in since she doesn't need it. Ju-hyuk replies with a chuckle that he's not interested in awards, but he shouldn't give up. It's better to put on a show. He adds that he wants to see how much stronger Aaron has gotten. Ju-hyuk needs his neck. "So lay it out. I'll keep your injuries in mind." Aaron, surrounded by blue lightning bolts, accepts the challenge. "Okay, Ju-hyuk." Her eyes sparkle purple, sword filled with energy, ready for battle. Ju-hyuk rushes forward with an anticipatory smirk and a pink aura. A commentator with a drop of sweat on his forehead nervously watches the start of the final. Sanchul is calm and Robert clutches his head in shock, anticipating the outcome. Ju-hyuk smirks. "Though not much, but I'll take that deal." The spectators in the stands tensely watching the finale. The girl crossed her arms. Arin is defeated in the cracked arena, Ju-hyuk standing over her. Ju-hyuk clenches his fist. The commentator announces, "This year's champion is Kim Ju-hyuk." The little observer rebukes, "Cruel. You promised to take her injuries into account, didn't you?" Ju-hyuk, I didn't hit her in the stomach." Arin lies face down and Ju-hyuk explains, "I had to adapt and seal her into the ground." Ju-hyuk recalls, "Her sword suddenly aimed at my stomach, I had to fight it off with my fist." He smugly notes, "I've definitely gotten stronger, even a small amount of mana gives that result." Ju-hyuk's red eye sparkles, he continues, "And she's gotten stronger too," he concludes, looking at the still lying Arin. It's night. The moon illuminates the academy building. A light is on in one of the windows. Ju-hyuk at the counter explains, "The monsters here are like real, so just give me the sword." Sanchol, with book in hand, addresses the audience. "Well done, everyone." He looks at the seated students, including Ju-hyuk and Arin. "Is everyone okay?" "Yes, sir," they reply. Sanchol continues, "I'm sure no one was hurt thanks to the defense system, but check with the nurse." When the teacher starts talking about tomorrow's formation, Ju-hyuk listens tensely. Ju-hyuk's red eye blazing, he thought, "What a waste of time. Another day of this for the Eye of the Great Forest?" Sanchol concludes, "Well, that concludes the discussion of team combat. Rest." The teacher retreats through the night corridor of the academy, heading towards the auditorium. A sudden shout of "Sir!" makes Sanchol turn around in surprise. It was Ju-hyuk who stopped him in the hallway, clearly intending to say something. Sanchol asks, "What is it, Ju-hyuk? Do you have a question?" Ju-hyuk remembers the goblins. "You're not going to make me fight them with my bare hands, are you?" With a sly grin, Ju-hyuk clarifies, "About the team fight tomorrow." "Can we go straight to the final task if we finish early?" he asks of the Eye of the Great Forest. Sanchol flips through the book thoughtfully. "This hasn't happened before, we need to check the rules." The teacher finds the answer. "There are 2 conditions under which this is possible." Ju-hyuk, "What are they?" Sanchol shows the document. "The standard is 1 assignment per day, but there are exceptions." He explains, 1. If the task is completed before noon, at the discretion of the instructors, you can move on. Ju-hyuk smirks. "The discretion of the instructors, then. What do you think?" Sanchol looks directly at Ju-hyuk. "Do you intend to move on to the next task immediately?" Sanchol explains, "If you finish in the morning as the rules state, you can move on to the next task in the afternoon." Ju-hyuk nods with a smile. "Okay, sir, I'll see you tomorrow." Ju-hyuk hums, pulling out his sword. He's already looking forward to tomorrow. With burning eyes and a sinister grin, Ju-hyuk leaves, Sanchol wishing him a good night. The voice in Ju-hyuk's head, "Are you planning on finishing the Eye of the Great Forest in 1 day?" Ju-hyuk, "Yep. Good thing they made that rule up." Ju-hyuk's enigmatic companion says thoughtfully, "I see. The rules." "So you're going to maim members of other academies?" Ju-hyuk explodes. "That's the 2nd rule. I'm talking about the 1st. "Oh, I misunderstood," the companion mutters as Ju-hyuk continues on his way. Anyway, Ju-hyuk's red eye sparkles with determination. There's no time to lose. The next day, the sun rises over the mountain where Valhalla is located. The instructors announce, "Good morning. The 2nd day of the competition has begun." The hologram broadcasts the details. Team battle on the mountain today, 5 representatives from each academy. A huge camera drone soars into the sky, ready to film the battle in the forest. Ju-hyuk is handed a sword with the words, "Use this." The Valhalla team prepares in the woods under the supervision of a drone. One of the girls looks tired. The girl with purple hair is concerned. "By the way, where's Ju-hyuk? It's about to start." Ju-hyuk suddenly appears. "Oh, sorry I'm late," surprising his teammates. The girl angrily asks, "Do you even know what time it is?" Ju-hyuk grins. "I overslept." She reprimands him for being late for the strategy discussion, but Ju-hyuk waves it off. "I was thinking about something else." Jughead, scratching the back of his head, suggests, "Since I'm so guilty, let's make a plan." Ju-hyuk smugly declares, "I'll take care of everything." The girl with the sword is shocked. "What?" She resents it. "You do realize this is a team fight, not a personal fight?" Ju-hyuk, "I know." The girl pouted, "Everybody wants to beat us out, and you're going it alone?" She looks for support from the team. Does everyone agree with this? But the guys are silent. Ju-hyuk eyed his sword with a sly grin, thinking over a plan. Aaron timidly raises her hand. Ju-hyuk, can I come with you? Ju-hyuk cuts off. No, stay here. Aaron obediently agrees, which angers the other girl. Ju-hyuk advises his partner, stop talking, save your strength. She's taken aback. Be talking? With eyes blazing, Ju-hyuk reminds, the match is in 5 seconds and we have another one in the afternoon. The girl stares in horror at the announcement. 4. Time is running out. The girl shouts, Ju-hyuk, answer me before you go. But he waves her off. You talk too much. Countdown. 1. Ju-hyuk smirks. Prepare for the eye of the great forest. The White Lotus team advances cautiously through the forest. Ju-hyuk swiftly catches up with them. Found you. The White Lotus girl cries out, it's that guy from Valhalla, to battle! Ju-hyuk with sword at the ready meets the holographic goblins protecting his opponents. Glittering scarlet eyes, Ju-hyuk swings his sword. And you're faster than I thought. A system message pops up. White Lotus destroyed. A student from the other team stunnedly utters, what? He can't believe his eyes. White Lotus is out. It hasn't even been 10 minutes since the match started. The student pondered. Did Valhalla hit the White Lotus first, anticipating their attack? Logan, there's mana moving towards us, warns a comrade sensing the approach. It's not students, it's just one person. He clarifies, the team tenses up. Logan commands, Rook, Danny, keep tracking mana. The two concentrate. Melissa, prepare the magical ability amplification circle. The girl nervously obeyed. Yvel cast a defense spell on the shield. She's already activating the barrier. Ju-hyuk approaches with a slight smirk, his gaze full of confidence. Logan's team lines up the defenses, shield in front, reinforcement circle in the back, Logan ready for battle. The girl is perplexed. But you said there's only one? Why all this preparation? Logan replies grimly, if that one is Ju-hyuk, then it's necessary. The shield girl explains, Melissa doesn't know because she hasn't fought him. His skills aren't like a schoolboy's. Logan grimly admits, but yours too. I'm nothing compared to him. One of the mana trackers cries out, wait, the mana response is gone. Logan is perplexed. What, he's gone? Melissa suggests, maybe it was just a scout. Logan's team stands at full alert, surrounded by a magic circle. They continue to wait vigilantly, light shining through the forest thicket. From above, from the shadows of the trees, Ju-hyuk watches them, remaining unnoticed. Meanwhile, the other team in blue uniforms, 2 girls in front, looks wary. Logan looks up sharply, his face tense. There you are! He looks up in horror. Is he above us? Something is rapidly approaching. A powerful blow with the hilt of his sword lands on Logan, a crack sound echoing through the forest. Ju-hyuk looms over the defeated Logan with a predatory grin and scarlet eyes. Logan falls unconscious to the ground, his team looking on in horror at what has happened. Melissa turns around in a panic. What? When did he have time? Ju-hyuk is already behind her back, striking. Took too long to notice. Yvel, the shield girl, shouts in rage. Ju-hyuk! Gathering energy to attack. Ju-hyuk dodges her energy charge with slight surprise. He counterattacks Yvel, criticizing her desperate tactics. Ju-hyuk activates the hidden mechanism on the hilt of his sword, preparing for his next move. The remaining 2 guys on Logan's team tense their eyes on Ju-hyuk, preparing for battle. The mechanism on the hilt activated, Ju-hyuk is ready for the final blow. He lightning fast knocks out one of the guys with the hilt of his sword, the other stunned. The remaining opponents are terrified, realizing that this is the end of their team. Ju-hyuk stands alone, Logan's entire team defeated at his feet. A system message pops up, heroes destroyed. Ju-hyuk smirks. I guess we can head for the eye of the great forest now. In the Valhalla observation room, the instructor is concerned. What are we going to do about this? Colleagues report, Ju-hyuk finished the team fight in 23 minutes with only 3 minutes of that time spent on the fight itself. The instructor is confused. It creates a hole in the schedule. Big problem. Meanwhile, Ju-hyuk, already in another location, furiously mauls monsters on his way to his goal. The instructor suggests, we can finish for today or reschedule tomorrow's competition. A colleague clarifies, are you talking about the Great Forest Oak? Shall we discuss it with other instructors? The head instructor agrees. Okay, let me know your decision. He pronounces thoughtfully, did Ju-hyuk really see this coming? Scary guy. The 2 instructors walk down the hallway discussing the next steps. One of them says, we need to contact the White Lotus, but Valhalla is ready for the next mission. The second admits, after this fight, I'm sure, Even in the best shape, our guys would have failed. He adds, "Now I understand why you called Juhyuk a monster." The first instructor replies with a slight chuckle, "I see." They decide, let's meet with the White Lotus instructors first to talk things over. Juhyuk, with his devilish grin and scarlet eyes, is ready to ravage his enemies. Meanwhile, the Valhalla team rests in their waiting area. The lilac-haired girl glances nervously at her comrades. She is amazed. Unbelievable. Who would have thought he would single-handedly win a team fight? The girl recalls, "The instructor put me in charge. I tried to take the lead, but I couldn't do anything." Bitterly, she adds, "Worse, yesterday I lost to Aaron in a head-to-head match." She clenches her fist at her chest. "At this rate, I'm going to fall behind. My clan's reputation is on the line." The girl looks at Juhyuk. "Maybe I should put my pride aside and ask him to train me with Aaron?" Suddenly, Juhyuk, squinting his scarlet eye, addresses everyone. "Attention, students." He announces, "Tomorrow's final match, Survival of the Labyrinth, has been rescheduled for today at 1 o'clock in the afternoon." The students are amazed. It's exactly like Juhyuk said, time to get ready for finals. Meanwhile, another fighter who looks like Juhyuk is also fiercely fighting monsters. Juhyuk interrupts them seriously. "Wait, I have something to tell you before the match." He announces to the team, "In the eye of the great forest, I will act on my own. Survive on your own." The lilac-haired girl frowns upon hearing his condition, but if anything, call loudly. He's alone again. She reflects, "Honestly, after 2 wins, it's enough for us not to be in last place." Her look becomes determined. It's survival of the maze, but the main problem there is the environment, not the monsters.
Juhyuk looks at her with an impenetrable look, waiting for a reaction.
The girl turns to him indignantly. "Do you have something to say, Chatterbox?" Juhyuk is surprised. "Chatterbox?" She explodes. "Why do you call me that?" Juhyuk grins. "You answer your own question." The lilac-haired girl accepts the nickname Chatterbox with a slight smile. Participants gather at the main gate of the Eye of the Great Forest, ready for the challenge. Meanwhile, Juhyuk, wasting no time, is already fighting monsters in another location. The host announces the start of the final match, Survival in the Maze. Spectators will watch the competition through a holographic broadcast. He is preparing to explain the rules of the labyrinth and the criteria for evaluating participants. The arena is the Eye of the Great Forest, a huge forest maze. The peculiarity of this maze is not the confusing passages, but the constant rain and weak monsters. However, according to the presenter, it is the rain and dense thickets that will be the main threat. The outcome of the match will be decided by the survival rate of the students, whose condition will be checked at the entrance. The host explains, the better the condition after 5 hours, the higher the score, and fighting between teams is forbidden. With microphone in hand, he solemnly announces, "Let the match begin." Students enter the gates of the Eye of the Great Forest in the pouring rain. Someone's hand grips the hilt of the sword tightly, preparing for the ordeal. Meanwhile, in the abandoned warehouse of Valhalla, 2 suspicious types are up to something. A man receives a message, "Students have entered the Eye of the Great Forest," his accomplice nearby. A masked woman joins them. "One believer has killed 3 ollies. Come." She continues, grabbing them by the shoulders. There's a mana-blocking barrier at the entrance to the maze. It's being held by 2 of them. The Trinity is shrouded in an ominous aura. The masked woman orders, "Let's deal with these 2 first." A powerful flash of purple energy emanates from the group, heralding their attack. A sudden glitch interrupts the broadcast with static and the word "fast" on the screen. The gray-haired instructor is puzzled. What the? The situation is getting out of control. All the cameras monitoring the Eye of the Great Forest go offline at the same time. The chief instructor is alarmed. "What's going on here? Several cameras have failed at once." Meanwhile, Juhyuk stabs the monster furiously, his eyes burning scarlet. The guard reports, "Did you call the main entrance?" "Yes, sir," but no one answered. The instructor suggests, "Sir, something may have happened to the students. I'll get the instructors together and check it out." The instructors hurriedly head toward the Eye of the Great Forest, sensing something amiss. A group of instructors, led by a gray-haired man, moved forward resolutely. When they arrive, they see the destruction and defeated people. What happened here? Meanwhile, the heavy rain continues unabated in the Eye of the Great Forest. Students from the other team squirm under the cold jets, trying to keep warm. The girl anxiously turns to Logan, their leader, who is also soaked to the skin. "Logan, Yvel doesn't look so good," remarks the blonde, looking at her shivering friend. Yvel tries to hide her condition. "I'm fine." It's just because of the rain. At the same time, Juhyuk, remembering the past, easily slays another monster. Logan earnestly warns, overcooling is a disqualification. We need high scores. He quickly commands, build shelter, Melissa for leaves, Danny and Rook for sturdy branches. Logan takes on the job of preparing the site himself. I'll level the ground for our shelter. Suddenly, an ominous sphere of dark energy appears beside him, taking him by surprise. 3 men emerge from a dark sphere in the rain, one of them unhappy with the weather. A bald, bulky man with glowing eyes hissed angrily, Kim Juhyuk, accept your fate and die. However, a stunned Logan stands in front of him, and the attacker utters a surprised expression. Ah? The bald man shouts to the masked woman, Hey Alia, it's not Juhyuk! And she excuses herself by saying she was on her way to a mana source. Logan is confused. Who are these people? Did he say he was going to kill Kim Juhyuk? Logan's gaze becomes hard. They came out of the portal with dark mana. Is it really... Flashback. In the past, Juhyuk fought monsters using any weapon at hand. Logan realizes the horrible truth as he looks at the villains. Sinners? The woman with the short haircut orders, we don't need witnesses. Get rid of him. Logan prepares to strike back in a rage, flames erupting in his hand. How did you... Logan is furious. School competitions are no place for scum like you. The bald-headed assassin wields his knife with a smirk, his eyes glowing ominously. A scarlet flash. The blade pierces Logan's flesh mercilessly. The student looks at the wound in his chest, and behind his back a thug asks, Are you the one who called us scum? The villain smirks gloatingly, holding Logan up, pierced by the blade. When did you manage to get behind me? The boy whispers, shocked. The bandit replies mockingly, Behind you. You don't seem to get it. Look ahead. Despite the pain, Logan's hand reaches for the hilt of his sword. He doesn't give up. Suddenly, another, exactly the same bald assassin materializes in front of Logan. Whoa, what? There are 2 of them? The same? Logan can't believe his eyes. That's right, kid, the assassin smirked, preparing to reveal his trick. It's called duplication, he explains as the second blade pierces Logan. Logan falls face first into the mud in the pouring rain. The masked woman wonders if he's dead, and the bald villain wanted him to die slowly. A sudden scream causes the assassins to turn around. Avelle stares in horror at the defeated Logan, her shield glowing. Another witness, the accomplice remarks, and the bald man replies, I'll kill her too. Okay, finish her off quickly, the woman orders with a wink. Meanwhile, the scarlet-eyed Juhyuk senses something turning around. The bald assassin rushes swiftly at the dazed and horrified Avelle. Juhyuk races through the downpour, desperately searching for something in the woods. The system message says that Rona needs the Sword of Enlightenment for Madagai's house, which he doesn't find. The guy begins to question whether this house even exists amongst the solid trees. Suddenly, through the shroud of rain, he notices a familiar light-colored head. Juhyuk stops abruptly when he sees Melissa frozen with horror. The girl screams in despair over the bodies of her fallen comrades, facing the bald assassin. The villains notice the new witness. The thug irritably asks why they're showing up one at a time. Juhyuk's gaze turns icy cold. He instantly assessed the mortal danger. Melissa tearfully turns around and hopefully says the name of Juhyuk, who has approached. The bald assassin turns around sharply, his attention now fixed on Kim Juhyuk. The bald villain smirks. The target came on his own after hearing the screams. That's why I don't kill right away. Juhyuk with scarlet eyes stares coldly at the assassins, realizing that he is their target. His gaze slides downward, assessing the horrifying scene in the rain. The breathless bodies of Logan and his crew lie in the dirt in front of him. Juhyuk turns to Melissa decisively. Blondie, I'll deal with the bastards. You stop your own from bleeding. He notices Logan is still breathing. They're still alive. Juhyuk analyzes the wounds. It looks like they were wounded in such a way that they died from blood loss. The guy's face contorts with rage. Those bastards... Hey, you've ruined my mood, so answer me. Juhyuk stands in front of the villains. Did you sneak in here? Then I'll kill you quietly. The bald assassin grins gloatingly. Puppy, you don't seem to have realized where you've ended up. You're trapped in this maze. Juhyuk deftly dodges the blow, and the thug's blade slams into the ground. The bandit brags that they destroyed the only entrance and all the surveillance drones. Juhyuk assumes the instructors are already aware, but the bald man is sure help won't come soon enough. The villain gloatingly clarifies that the gate is completely destroyed and will take at least an hour to clear. Juhyuk grimly realizes, 1 hour? I only have 1 hour. The guy looks up at the sky in despair. I'm soaked to the skin in these woods and now I only have an hour to search. The bald assassin pulls out his knife with a smirk. I don't know what you're babbling on about. With a cry of die, the thug and his double rush at Juhyuk from both sides. Juhyuk abruptly moves away from the lunge, the assassin's blade slicing through the air with a whoosh. The villain's weapon slams into the ground with force, again missing its target. The bald assassin utters a puzzled expression. Ah? Juhyuk grins. Just as I thought, their attacks are primitive. The doppelgangers look around confused. Where did he go? Juhyuk utters with an icy stare. You! Suddenly appearing, he draws his weapon with a fierce smirk. Now all dead bodies. His blow descends upon the enemy with crushing force. Juhyuk attacks from above, taking all three villains by surprise. One of the thugs crashes to the ground with a crash from a powerful blow. The accomplices are shocked, one of them perplexed. All ready? Juhyuk takes aim at the remaining two baddies in a leap. Juhyuk unleashes a stabbing blow on both baddies at once. The killer's accomplices fall to the wet ground without strength. System monsters? Juhyuk assesses the enemies. Just quality duds, nothing more. The entire trio of villains are now defeated and lying helplessly in the mud. Juhyuk commands Melissa again. Blondie, Mana, stop them bleeding. If you can't run west, ours are there, he adds without turning around. Melissa, full of determination, begins the healing, her hands enveloped in a bright light. The bald assassin, with a grimace of pain, whispers, Rise, trying desperately to get up. He sits up abruptly, his eyes widened with horror and incomprehension. What happened? You're just weak, that's what happened, Juhyuk replies icily, and the enemy flinches. Juhyuk looks coldly at the defeated assassin, who is still clutching the knife. The guy demands an answer. Before I beat you up, tell me who the customer is? Baldy smirked. What kind of assassin would give away a client? I'm no amateur. A scene pops up in Juhyuk's mind where he easily dispatches his enemies. Juhyuk fixes his hair thoughtfully. Strange. Usually villains are as chatty as magpies. The bald man's face contorts in anger. That puppy. I was just caught off guard. But now I'll finish him off with my double, growls the assassin, summoning a dark copy. The dark doppelganger attacks from the back, but Juhyuk remains unfazed. Baldy was shocked. He dodged, but he couldn't have caught the doppelganger's attack. Juhyuk clutched the hilt of his weapon, his gaze full of contempt. Did you really think that you'll stop attacking from the back like a coward? Juhyuk turns around with his sword. The bald knife-wielding assassin stiffens before Juhyuk strikes back. Juhyuk's punch hits exactly on target, blood spurting from the villain's face. Juhyuk looks coldly at the defeated bald man, who covers his face with his hand. The observer is shocked. Impossible! I gave him an ordinary iron sword. Hey, Baldy, Juhyuk addresses, and the enemy looks up startled. Juhyuk is adamant. For the last time, who ordered it? But the killer only snaps back. Yeah? So it's okay to not hold back? Juhyuk's eyes flash ominously. His sword whistles through the air, leaving a red trail behind it. A powerful blast of energy shakes the ground, sweeping away everything in its path. The observer is amazed. No mana, no special technique. He cuts through them like butter. It's like the sword itself is devouring the monsters. Juhyuk furiously slashes at the creatures. The lilac-haired girl wrinkles her nose unhappily, clenching her fist. The blonde man stunned. I can't believe it! The white-haired girl watches from afar as Juhyuk single-handedly destroys the horde. She touches the collar thoughtfully, clearly impressed by his skill. Juhyuk unsheathes his sword. I want to go down to the Hall of Constellations. Guy stands in the middle of the defeated monsters, his blade lowered. Juhyuk strides resolutely away, stepping over the bodies of his enemies. He turns around with a cocky grin. You're going to keep your promise, right? The observer utters with a disgruntled look. Okay then. The camera shows the majestic academy building against the backdrop of the sunset. The teacher announces, That's it for today, you can go to rest. One of the students, exhausted, slides down the desk. The guy is shocked at the prolonged lecture. How many times? It's time to get out of here. He reflects, I have never studied. I have only passed on knowledge to my students. The students leave and the hero reflects, the lecture was boring, but I learned something useful. He walks through the area pondering, especially about the constellations. There were no such concepts in my day, so what's the point? He mumbles. An image appears before him. The constellation are those who have become gods for great deeds. Constellations make contracts with hunters, bestowing artifacts and powers. Korea's Valhalla is an academy with the third highest number of divine artifacts in the world. Juhyok paces the campus. Everything about swordsmanship and killing monsters was useless. He decides, first to the dorm, I'll start training. This body is ridiculously weak. Suddenly, the guy turns around at someone's uncertain voice. Standing in front of him is the same white-haired girl, the Watcher. Meanwhile, there's a conversation going on in the teacher's academy. An elderly teacher with a cup of coffee says thoughtfully, "Sounds tough." He continues, turning to his colleague. "Honestly, it's more of an embarrassment." The young teacher is puzzled, but logically it doesn't make sense. He's definitely a schoolboy. The head teacher is perplexed. 120 monsters for a lesson and he destroyed them all? The young co-worker confirms, eliciting a thoughtful, from the older one. An elderly faculty member notes, "There's nothing outstanding on his record, no connections." The younger teacher adds a shocking detail. "This kid is an orphan from a dangerous neighborhood." The older one suspects ID forgery, but the younger one has already checked this out and denies it. "Why would he fake his way to Valhalla to cause such a scandal at the ceremony?" remarks the younger one reasonably. The elderly man recalls Juhyok's request. "But he wanted to get into the Hall of Constellations, didn't he?" The younger teacher is confident. "If I ask the principal, they will give him access to the first basement floor." The head teacher, sipping his coffee, agrees. "Since I brought you here, it's my responsibility." "The fifth basement floor is closed, but you can get to the first floor early," he concludes, resolving the situation. The junior teacher is concerned. "I'm worried about the upcoming year. Because of Juhyok?" The elder replies, "That too, but you have 3 more of the 5 great clans in your class. Plus, there's an exchange student from the Bentrick clan in the next class," the senior adds, shocking his colleague. "Yes, a cousin of the Bentrick family, Rockdill Bentrick," he confirms, and an ominous silhouette appears. The younger recalls Rockdill Bentrick. He was expelled from the academy in Britain for debauchery. The young teacher sighs heavily, anticipating a difficult year. "Hearing that, my situation doesn't seem so bad anymore," he notes sarcastically. Meanwhile, Juhyok stares resolutely into the distance against the backdrop of the sunset. The white-haired girl who had been watching him earlier reappears. Juhyok turns to her. "What do you want?" The girl asks, embarrassed, "Teach me." She stands in front of Juhyok with a sword case fought fencing. Juhyok turns around, surprised by her unexpected request. The white-haired girl resolutely repeats, "Teach me fencing." The guy is puzzled. Cat silhouettes appear in the background. "What?" The girl clarifies, "The way you fought before." "Teach me that." Juhyok picks his ear indifferently, answering, "No." She is surprised at his abrupt refusal. "Why not?" Juhyok looks down at her. "What do you mean, why not?" "I just don't want to." He grins. "That's it? I'm off then," getting ready to leave. The girl with a determined look insists, "Teach me fencing." Juhyok replies irritably, his eyes glittering, "I said no." He looks away. "You don't understand the word no? Stop bugging me." Juhyok tosses over his shoulder, "I'm not going to teach you, so get lost." The guy walks off into the sunset, leaving the girl standing alone. The white-haired woman stares after him, her determination undiminished. It's a new day. The sun brightly illuminates the majestic academy building. In class, Juhyok is sitting at a desk with a couple other students next to him. The door creaks open and Juhyok lifts his gaze to the entrant. He confidently stretches out his arm, drawing attention to himself. Juhyok is disappointed. "I wasn't expecting much, but this body is worse than I thought." He laments, "Training? No chance, I have almost no mana and I don't control it." The guy clenches his fist. "But the mana problem can be solved if I find that thing." The stranger calls out to him, "Juhyok Kim?" and the guy looks up. 2 people stand before him, a tall blonde man and a girl, clearly from the nobility. The blonde-haired guy with the smirk is Rockdill Bentrick, a side branch of a famous family. Next to him is his companion, Juria de Palace, a 17-year-old aristocrat. Rockdill towers over Juhyok, who sits quietly at his desk. Juhyok asks nonchalantly, "Who are you two?" Rockdill contemptuously thinks, "What an ignoramus, he doesn't even know I'm from the Bentrick family." Rockdill introduces himself. "I am Rockdill of the Bentrick family. I'll get right to the point." He holds out his hand to Juhyok with a smirk. "You want strength?" A close-up of Rockdill confirms, side branch of the Bentrick clan, Rockdill Bentrick. The diagram explains, In most clans, it is difficult for side branches to gain power. But with the Guardian constellation Plague Mask, the Bentrick clan was an exception. Usually, the S-class constellations themselves choose the worthy ones according to strict criteria. However, in the Bentrick clan, it was up to the members to decide who to contract with, and the constellation didn't mind. Through this method, the Bentrick clan gained power in Europe, giving strength to even distant relatives. And Rockdil Bentrick, knowing this support, became incredibly arrogant. Juhyok looks thoughtfully, remembering, it wasn't that long ago, however. Juhyok recalls, Rockdil caused a stir in England, causing the main family to kick him out. But Rockdil is not discouraged. So be it, but... He turns to see Yuria standing at the academy gate. Rockdil smirks gloatingly at his companion. I got what I wanted. He's confident. Though I've been kicked out so far, I can come back if I glorify the Bentrick name. Rockdil rocks, remembering the mysterious figure. I'll make something that even she will be pleased with. His eyes gleam slyly as he contemplates his plan. And for starters, Rockdil returns to the present, holding out his hand to Juhyok. I'll lure the best rookie, Juhyok Kim, to my side. He continues with a smug smile. You work for me, you will receive the blessing of my clan's constellation. Juhyok stares at him blankly, clearly unimpressed. What the hell are you talking about? Rockdil looks shocked and confused after what happened. Yuria is also visibly anxious, her gaze full of worry. Rockdil is angered by Juhyok's words, who openly tells him he's not interested in socializing and it should be obvious. Juhyok notes that despite his apparent indifference, Rockdil started this conversation anyway and wonders if he's doing the right thing. Rockdil loses his temper and angrily calls Juhyok an uneducated and dirty boy. An old man, Sangchul Lee, intervenes in the conversation and orders Rockdil back to his classroom, surprising everyone present, including Juhyok and Yuria. Rockdil asks indignantly who dares to order him around. Sangchul Lee calmly observes with an expression of confidence, showing his superiority. Sangchul Lee reminds Rockdil that they are now in Valhalla, not his English academy, and that the Bentrick family's position does not exempt him from obeying the local instructors. Rockdil and Yuria recognize the old man as the famous martial arts professor of the Valhalla Academy, Sangchul Lee. Rockdil snorts contemptuously, clearly not expecting such a rebuff. He turns around, throwing Juhyok an annoyed look, Yuria following behind him. Walking away, Rockdil smirks ominously. We'll meet again, Juhyok. The door slams shut, and Juhyok's eyes flash red with annoyance. The day comes to an end. Juhyok leaves the academy with the other students. He's thinking, I haven't accomplished anything today, and this strange guy is here this morning. Juhyok sighs. Guild scouts are now sending students over. How do I get rid of them? Suddenly, someone calls out to him from behind, and he turns around in surprise at the sunset. In front of him, the same white-haired girl with a determined look again. Teach me swordsmanship. Juhyok is in complete shock, sweat beading on his face. You're going there too? Meanwhile, back at the Valhalla dormitory, Rockdil's day is also coming to an end. A commotion and furious shouting can be heard outside the VIP room door. Rockdil brings his fist down on the table in a frenzy, screaming, God damn it! He stands in the middle of the room, shards flying around, while Yuria watches silently. Juhyok Kim! Rockdil hissed. How dare that lowlife bastard humiliate me! He orders Yuria, contact Desera, someone needs to be dealt with. Rockdil turns sharply to the girl, demanding an answer. Yuri! Yuria looks at him, her face impenetrable, but a shadow flickers in her eyes. Suddenly, Rockdil grabs her hair roughly. Yuria cries out in pain. Answer me, he growls, his face contorted with rage, and Yuria squirms. Rockdil asks Yuria furiously, Do you think you're still the eldest daughter of the Palace clan? There's terror in her eyes as Rockdil threatens. Should I kick you out of our clan right now? He mercilessly throws Yuria to the floor. She falls face down. Rockdil, shrouded in a red aura, orders, Tell Desera, someone needs to be dealt with. Yuria quietly replies, Yes, master. And he adds about the guy from the Rising Sun clan. The scene changes. Juhyok's room in the Valhalla dormitory, he's sitting on the bed. Juhyok meditates, surrounded by a blue glow, trying to concentrate. Streams of mana swirl around him, but the guy's face is tense. He exhaled with difficulty, sweat rolling down his temples. Juhyok clutches his chest disappointedly. This body is not good for anything. I can't even focus my mana. Juhyok stares grimly, a drop of sweat dripping down his face, his body still weak. Flashback, Ju-hyuk walks away from the academy, and the white-haired girl follows him unstoppably. He squints irritably at his pursuer while she is determined. Ju-hyuk stops abruptly outside the dormitory, the girl freezing behind him. He turns around. What the hell? We're already at the dorm. How long are you going to follow me? The girl nonchalantly repeats, Teach me fencing, Ju-hyuk thinks, like a broken record. Ju-hyuk pondered irritably. She just doesn't know how to give up. We'll have to get her to back off. He names a staggering price. The girl looks at him with her same determination. Ju-hyuk announces, 10 million won. That's the price of one lesson. The girl looks at him silently, her gaze not wavering at the sum named. Ju-hyuk quips, Too expensive, huh? Well, bye, and gets ready to leave. The girl decisively states, Give me your phone. Ju-hyuk turns around in surprise, not understanding her intentions. She doesn't hesitate to take his phone. Ju-hyuk asks, Why? The girl quickly dials something on her phone, explaining, If I give you my number, it'll be easier to transfer the money. She hands him back his smartphone. Ju-hyuk looks at his phone in utter bewilderment. What? The sudden notification causes Ju-hyuk to freeze with shock. A translation pops up on the phone screen. 100 million won from Aaron Choi. Aaron Choi looks at him expectantly. Are you going to teach me now? Ju-hyuk deflects the translation with a sly smile. Nope. Later in his room, he reflects. That was unexpected. How could a student send 100 million so easily? He keeps thinking, I'd have to teach her for real, like that's why he charged such a high price. Well, whatever. Ju-hyuk stands up resolutely. Once I find that thing, money and mana will cease to be a problem. He quickly grabs his jacket, ready for a night out. Ju-hyuk shoes up, taking the first step toward his secret goal. With a shovel over his shoulder, he announces, It's time to find my secret warehouse. Night panorama of the academy. The stadium and buildings are plunged into darkness. Ju-hyuk strides confidently through the night forest, heading toward his goal. He recalls, Most of my stashes hidden 300 years ago have unfortunately been destroyed. Ju-hyuk pondered. By my calculations, there should be 4 geocaches here, but there's probably only 3 left. He continues, and the most likely of them all is in the mountain of Valhalla, Ju-hyuk decides, looking at the night landscape. Ju-hyuk pulls his hood up. Let's get to searching. Flash. He descends, surrounded by blue energy, to the foot of the mountain. Ju-hyuk explains, I can find the stash by using a ball that reacts to my mana. That way I can save my strength. The blue glow indicates a point underground. Ju-hyuk says with confidence, Found it. A bright beam of mana beams from the ground, confirming the find. The powerful blow of the shovel crashes to the ground, raising dust and splinters. Ju-hyuk breathes heavily, leaning on the shovel. This frail body. He throws the shovel away, thinking, If I'd known it was going to be this hard, and I wouldn't have buried it so deep. Ju-hyuk recalls, If it hadn't been for the Tower of the End 300 years ago, I wouldn't have had to do this. He continues digging, explaining, The world was on the brink of destruction, and I had nowhere to store my stuff. He digs in, hopeful. I hope everything inside is okay. I really hope so. Meanwhile, dawn is breaking over the academy. Ju-hyuk wipes the sweat from his forehead, breathing heavily. Finally. He looks at the dugout entrance, secret warehouse. Ju-hyuk crouches down, groping the ground. The keyhole must be around here somewhere. His hand finds hers. Ah, there she is. Ju-hyuk, shrouded in a blue aura, explains, Normal keys won't fit here. He concentrates the mana, preparing to form a special key from it. The energy in his hands takes the form of a graceful, glowing key. The magic key fits perfectly into the keyhole with a distinctive click. Ju-hyuk grins in satisfaction. Great, it fits. The heavy stone door creaks aside, revealing a passageway. Wasting no time, he jumps into a dark manhole flooded with light from within. Ju-hyuk lands softly on a mountain of glittering gold coins. His eyes gleam predatorily, reflecting the glow of untold riches. He looks around the treasury full of artifacts. How have you been, my treasures? Ju-hyuk proudly looks around his treasury, standing in the middle of mountains of gold. He ponders. Now that money is not an issue, I need to find... Suddenly his gaze clings to something important. Huh? Among the gold, he notices purple crystals. There they are, storage stones. He picks one up, explaining, I was saving mana in them for stashes. Didn't think I'd use it myself. The stone in his hand flares up, pulsing with blue energy. Ju-hyuk holds the crystal, and he himself is enveloped in a powerful blue aura. With a satisfied grin, he pronounces, "I love these things. I can feel the mana overflowing." The stone shines brightly, filling him with power. Joo-hyuk decides, "I'll take the storage stones first, and light gems instead of heavy gold." The next day, the academy shines in the bright sunshine. Joo-hyuk sits in class, completely exhausted from the night's adventures. He mentally groans, note to self, next time, don't bury it so deep. Suddenly, Aaron Choi is beside him, making him flinch. Aaron looks at him and states firmly, "Teach me fencing." Joo-hyuk sighs tiredly. "You're still not settling down, are you?" He ponders. Her Choi clan are the best swordsmen. Why does she need me? Joo-hyuk asks, "Why me? Learn from your own." Aaron insists, "No, I must learn from you. No one is better at wielding a blade than you." Joo-hyuk is surprised. "What about your father? Isn't he the head of the Choi clan?" Aaron looks at Joo-hyuk and says, "My father? I'm sure you're better than him." Suddenly, a man peeks into the classroom. "Hey, Joo-hyuk, come into the office." Joo-hyuk, sitting at his desk, asks, "Why?" Aaron stands next to him. The man clarifies, "It's about what you asked. Don't you want to know?" Joo-hyuk stands up with a sly grin. "Coming." Joo-hyuk heads for the exit, Aaron looking after him. Aaron calls out to him, "Wait!" Her shoulders slump, she looks a little upset. Aaron looks determinedly after him. "Tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. She adds, looking at the departing Joo-hyuk, "I'll meet you at the training ground." Aaron looks at him with unwavering determination. Joo-hyuk turns around, asking, "Why? You don't want to?" Aaron shakes her head vigorously, her hair fluttering. Joo-hyuk, as he leaves, promises, "Oh, I'll be there." He heads toward the teacher's lounge sign. There's a man sitting behind a desk waiting for him in his office. The teacher says, "Lesson's coming up, so I'll be brief." He informs, "First, your access to the Hall of Constellations has been approved." Joo-hyuk wondered, "Only to the first basement floor?" Teacher confirms, "Yes, further access is restricted." Joo-hyuk asks with a smirk, "Got it, when can we go?" The teacher suggests, "At least tonight." Joo-hyuk agrees, "Fine, I'll go tonight." The teacher is surprised mentally. Unexpected, I thought he would argue over the restrictions. The teacher concludes, "That's it for now." Joo-hyuk replies, "Yes, sir." Joo-hyuk silently exits the classroom, the teacher seeing him off with a glance. Night falls, the academy sinks into darkness under a starry sky. The teacher and Joo-hyuk are standing in front of some building. "Here we are." They look up at the majestic structure shrouded in chains. Valhalla Academy's treasure, the Hall of Constellations. Joo-hyuk glimpses around, his gaze clinging to something. Two stern-looking guards in black suits and glasses stand at the entrance. Joo-hyuk scrutinizes the situation, his gaze serious. Two guards in strict suits and dark glasses vigilantly guard the entrance. Joo-hyuk remarks, "The security here is more serious than at the main gate." He looks thoughtfully at the walls, assessing their defenses. The building is shrouded in chains and glowing red magic circles. Joo-hyuk turns to the teacher. "Mr. Kim, can I ask you a question?" He wondered, "What happens if I go down to the second basement floor? Become a criminal?" The teacher replies, "No criminal, but Valhalla will expel you." The teacher adds, "Besides, you'll have a nervous breakdown before you're even expelled." "Yes, the mana on the second basement floor is incredibly powerful. Your mind can't handle it," the teacher explains. Joo-hyuk replies with a smirk. "Nervous breakdown exception. I see." The teacher is horrified, thinking, why did he ask that right out front? Was he really going to the second basement? The teacher tries to reassure himself. "No, he's the best on the exam. He knows it's best to stay in the academy." The gate opens. The teacher yells after Joo-hyuk, "You have 30 minutes, come back in that time." Joo-hyuk waves his hand nonchalantly. "Okay, I'll be right there," and walks inside, leaving the guards behind. Flash! A system message appears in front of him. "Return your weapons and memories. 5th room on the right, 3rd basement of the Constellation Hall." Joo-hyuk stands in the spacious hall, a holographic notification floating in front of him. He declares emphatically, "I don't care about exclusion. It's the only reason I came to Valhalla." Joo-hyuk thinks with grim determination, "I'll go down to the 3rd basement floor first." He descends an endless staircase amongst the machinery. Why are there so many stairs in this building? I haven't seen a single room yet. Joo-hyuk looks around the gloomy hall. What is this place, a prison? He notices a massive safe door. The Constellation Hall starts on the 1st basement. Is this it? Joo-hyuk frowns. That doesn't sound like what I need. Go any lower? Suddenly, a blue system notification screen flashes in front of him. The message on the screen reads, "You have met the requirements." The system continues, "You will be moved to a room." Joo-hyuk interjects in surprise, looking at the screen. "To the room?" The bright light from the screen blinds him, distorting his facial features. Suddenly a voice comes out, "Long time no see, Hyuno Kim." His red eye is wide open. Joo-hyuk finds himself confronted by a mysterious figure wearing a mask and bizarre garb. Joo-hyuk, with blazing eyes, recognizes the enemy. "Varcha?" The masked figure smiles mockingly. "It's been about 300 years, hasn't it?" Before he can finish, Varcha takes a crushing blow to the jaw. A furious attack from Joo-hyuk throws his opponent off. The hero's face contorted with anger. "What the hell are you doing here, you bastard?" Flashback. The system announced that the requirements had been met. That's exactly how he was moved. "You will be moved to a room." Then he was only perplexed, not knowing what awaited him. A blinding light, and he found himself face to face with Varcha. Taking a hit, Varcha babbles fearfully. Wait! Joo-hyuk, with a shout of "Die!" continues to beat up Varch. Varchi tries to stop him in a panic. "Wait, calm down and listen!" But Joo-hyuk is relentless, delivering another blow. "Just die!" Dialogues confirm Joo-hyuk's rage and Varche's pleas under a hail of blows. Varche is defeated, Joo-hyuk towering over him in empty space. Joo-hyuk is breathing hard, steam coming from his mouth, but his anger doesn't subside. A battered Varch mutters, "I don't usually start with fists." Joo-hyuk stomps on his enemy in rage. "But it's different for the bastard who ruined my dreams." He continues to shout, listing his losses, "My wealth, my honor, all the time on the disciples." Varche tries to change the subject. "Aren't you curious what this place is?" Joo-hyuk freezes. Varche, rising, clarifies, "I suppose this is the mental dimension. There's nothing here." He shakes it off. More specifically, the space inside the divine artifact. Varch adds, "My current appearance is only a projection. My body destroyed 3 centuries ago." Joo-hyuk clarifies, "So you've been inside the artifact the whole time?" Joo-hyuk's face tenses as he ponders what he's heard. "Then that means..." Varcha smirks smugly, anticipating the reaction. Flash of light. Varche announces, "That's right, Hyuno. I have become a constellation." Varche appears in a cute chibi uniform, glowering while Joo-hyuk watches in silence. Joo-hyuk explodes, "God, you're annoying!" and hits Varch again. Meanwhile, outside, the teacher and guards are still waiting at the entrance to the building. The teacher waits nervously, arms crossed, a drop of sweat dripping down his forehead. A sudden squeak makes the teacher squint warily. Joo-hyuk steps out and the guards immediately scan him with a metal detector. "Didn't do anything wrong?" asks the teacher suspiciously. "Just looking around," replies Joo-hyuk. Joo-hyuk reminds with a smirk, "You said yourself that my mind would split if I went any further." The teacher, a little taken aback, orders, "Okay, go back to the dormitory." Joo-hyuk walks quietly past, and the teacher looks after him thoughtfully. The hero strolls leisurely through the night territory of the academy, immersed in his thoughts. The image of Varche appearing before him in the guise of constellation flashes in his mind. "I don't care if you're a constellation," Joo-hyuk demands. "Explain yourself." Joo-hyuk points to Varcha. "You're the one who brings up those notification windows, right? What are those?" Varcha, with a slight abrasion, innocently replies, "I don't know." Joo-hyuk grabs him by the collar in a rage. "That bastard! I really don't know!" Varche babbles. Varch explains, "Since you killed me, I've spent 300 years in this thing without any power." Joo-hyuk is silent, clenching his fist. Joo-hyuk's hand slowly lowered, his grip on Varch loosening. "Then who's behind it?" Joo-hyuk asks. Varchi admits, "I got the notice too." Varche continues, "I was told to contact the reincarnated Hyuno Kim and get my memories back." Joo-hyuk is surprised. "Reincarnated?" Varche suggests, "I think this is the work of the one who made me master of the Tower of the End." A dark silhouette appears behind him. Joo-hyuk frowns. "You're saying that the one who turned you into a Tower Master did this? Who is he?" Varch waved his hands. "I don't know exactly. All my memories of it are completely gone. They don't seem to come back all at once." Varche wondered, "What was in your notice?" Joo-hyuk is surprised. Joo-hyuk recalls bring back weapons and memories, but some of the text was hidden. The hero claims he hasn't lost his memories and remembers everything about the tower. Varch suggests, "You may not know about the missing memories yet, but once you've found the weapons, they'll come back." Joo-hyuk is puzzled. "Weapons? I found a weapon already?" Varche confirms, "Yes, This space is the inner world of your weapon, the Sword of Enlightenment. I became a constellation by using the Sword of Enlightenment as a divine artifact, Varshay declares. Juhyok shivers. Juhyok's face contorts with rage. You bastard! The scene changes. Juhyok is once again walking through the academy grounds at night. He ponders. My Sword of Enlightenment has become an artifact, and within it is a Varshay that has become a constellation. That's the situation. Juhyok pondered, wanted to destroy the weapon, and holds out his hand. A flash! The Sword of Enlightenment materialized in his palm. The hero clutches his sword, thinking, Varshay is still the king of the end, and the sword is needed for a purpose. A sudden voice. Hey, aren't you Juhyok Kim, first one to orientation? The gang, led by a smirking blonde man, appears in front of him. Lyric Sunrise, a second-year player, demands respect from a rookie. Juhyok coldly replies, You look more like a bully than a senior. Lyric croaks, Cheeky puppy. The best first year should have shown up on his own. One of the gang volunteers to handle it. Lyric orders him not to overdo it. A thug with a staff atop his head addresses Juhyok. Hey, newbie. The bully wheezes in pain before he can speak, Juhyok's foot smashing into his chest. Juhyok throws in a devilish grin. Enough talk. Attack, motherfuckers. From the powerful blow, the bully flies backward, writhing in pain. Juhyok lightning fast continues his attack, his foot flashing through the air. Juhyok's next punch sends the other thug into a blood-spattered knockout. Juhyok leaps and scatters the remaining gang members like Skittles. One of the bullies crashes to the ground with a clatter, raising dust. The gang is defeated, one of them lying in a small crater, Lyric and his minions stunned. Lyric utters in shock, What the hell? Unable to believe his eyes. A close-up of Lyric's eye reflects his utter amazement and confusion. Lyric is stunned. A sword? Where did he get a weapon from? And Juhyok just chuckles. Juhyok turns to the gang. Ah, how I've missed the feel of a sword in my hand. It's been a long time since I've picked one up. With a devilish grin, he threatens, Hurry up, before I smash your heads in myself. Flashback, 3 hours ago. Lyric asks in surprise, What? A sinister smirk on someone's face. I just need for you to do one simple thing. The stranger instructs Lyric with a predatory smile. Just take care of one student. The customer continues, I wouldn't ask you to do it for free. Lyric replies, I'll see if I can help the Sunrise clan in any way. The stranger clarifies, First year Juhyok Kim, take care of him. Lyric, arms crossed, listens. You can use weapons if you want. We'll take care of the cleanup. The customer's eyes gleam ominously. So what do you say? Lyric agrees. Okay. He leaves the room where he received the assignment. Lyric reflects. Even if he is the best, a first year is a first year. Nothing compared to a second year. He is sure. First year and second year students of Valhalla are completely different. After all, the second year students have contracts with the constellations. Flashback, in the second semester, the freshmen sign a contract with Constellation. Lyric chuckles. By becoming a contract soldier, you can use the power of the constellation. But the commoner Juhyok Kim has neither a clan nor a guardian constellation. His eyes gleam ominously, so it will be easy to deal with him. Back to the present, Lyric is horrified, realizing his mistake, or so I thought. Juhyok's sword whistles through the air. A powerful sword strike hits one of Lyric's minions, and a bright light flashes. One of Lyric's henchmen with a flaming dagger growls, This little bastard! The hooligan is puzzled when something whistles past. Juhyok quickly kicks him in the side, and he doesn't have time to react. The hero assesses the next opponent with a cold gaze. Another bandit with a staff jumps, swinging his arm to strike from above. With a cry of die, he slams his staff down. A powerful blow shakes the ground, but Juhyok is no longer there. The bandit is perplexed. Why did he... Juhyok appears behind him with a grin. Missed. There is a dull thud as Juhyok's sword hits the back of the thug's head. Another henchman flies away. Lyric watches what is happening in a cold sweat. Juhyok looms over the fallen enemy with his sword. Lyric looks on in shock. Lyric can't believe his eyes. It can't be. He's knocking out everyone in a row. The defeated hooligans lie on the ground. Lyric is in despair. But why do we lose so easily? Lyric tries to understand, and the way he wields the sword is so strange. Juhyok casually swings his sword as if he's taking a stroll, and the enemy